Hey, welcome back to another episode of NOVAtazz's Automotive Podcast. This is episode 26, season 4. We shall see who joins us, who doesn't. I see Kat's already down in the comments. That was not a public road. That was a closed road. Thank you. Anyway, not that it matters. Anyway, thank you for throwing me completely off, Miss Cat. But see how this show goes. As usual, it'll probably be a little bit slow getting off, and probably will pick up in a little bit. You guys showing up and communicating out in the chat is what makes this live stream what it is. So thank you guys all who are down there in the chat. Mainly Cat at the moment. So hopefully our regulars will start rolling in, and we can get this show on the road. Excuse me, not COVID. Oh, hold on, I need a drink. Oh. But anyway, didn't get much done out in the shop this week. Worked overtime on Friday, and today my stuff that I needed to do what I needed to do didn't show up until after I had to go pick up my kid. So not much progress before this weekend. The other issue I have is getting content off of my phone currently. Having an issues with the data port and the charging port. In fact, I woke up to a completely dead battery this morning because it didn't charge. I do have parts on the way, so we will have to be disassembling this phone once again, partly due to my dog, partly due to the phone being from 2016 or 2017. The charging port has decided to give up the ghost. Let's put this on silent. Anyway, not to mention, not sure if you can see that, but there's supposed to be a cover over those cameras. That shattered and gone, and the case is cracked to hell. So all that will be getting replaced. I have a new back glass. I have new camera glass coming. I have a new battery coming, and I have a new charging / data port coming. Then hopefully I'll be able to get the videos off of my phone and start editing them. Right now I'm worried about having it start to do the transfer and something screw up with the cord and I lose the footage. It becomes corrupt or whatever. That is my current issue at the moment. But other than that, see where are we at? Pretty much same place we were at last week, except for I got a bunch of new stuff. I got tape. I should have brought that stuff in here. Anyway, I got this stuff called Tessa Tape. It's like a cloth. It's weird. But it was what was recommended by the people that make harnesses. I don't have the money to go out and go buy a bunch of wire loom right now. So what I'm going to do currently is use this Tessa Tape. It was a lot cheaper. Not as cheap as using old school electrical tape, but the problem with old school electrical tape is it leaves a nasty sticky mess. It's not technically watertight, and it can let stuff get into the connection. So I got a bunch of Tessa tape. I got a bunch of adhesive lined shrink tubing. So that way we can make sure that the ends of the wires are sealed to the plugs. I also picked up a bunch of zip ties, some more solder for my soldering iron, and I picked up a new crimper, which I'm going to immediately cut into with a I'm going to end up cutting into with a cutoff wheel to modify it to fit the terminals that this kit uses. So not sponsored, but one of the cheaper ones that I could find that had professional backed up reviews. No, I did not buy a Chinesium. It's an I Swiss brand. Um, it's not as expensive as some of the higher ones, like the MSD one and some of the other ones, but it's definitely not one of the no name brand Chinese ones that I see a lot of people pick up. So hopefully I don't have too many issues with it, and hopefully it does what I need it to do. Let's see. Kat says wound up having a dead battery on the vert today. Oh, well, that's not good. Howdy, Biggie. Another thing I ended up doing is I ended up having to restart my Patreon. It has been not used, not logged into long enough that they made me recertify everything. So it's not completely brand new, but I had to redo it to a point. I'd love to get that up and going. I could use the extra help on top of the YouTube ad rev, because my YouTube ad rev is in the toilet at the moment. I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now, but I'm not getting paid what I was 6 months ago. And I have a lot out invested in product for content. So yeah, like I could use the help. When I bought the stuff, I was not planning on certain financial issues and YouTube not picking up. But anyway, so I have Patreon set up. So any tips, tricks, helps, wants, needs, like I don't even know like tier levels, what to name them, how much to charge for them, what to offer for those different tier levels. I was thinking of kicking around maybe a private live stream for just Patreon members out in the shop, maybe on like Friday afternoons. Maybe posting the video as a link in Patreon for a certain tier level a day or two early. I don't know. I don't know exactly what people that do what we do on the channel. I don't know exactly what they offer for Patreon, so I don't know exactly what to offer. By the way, if you're in here and you haven't hit the like button, why not? You guys are all regulars. Be like the first thing you do is like Army. Come on, share the live stream. Get us out of here. You guys got to have other car friends. Anyway, so Patreon. I need help. Kat says she's not sure. She has a Patreon, but didn't offer anything. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that there should be, it's a double-edged sword, because at one point are you offering because you want paid content, or are you donating because you want to help the channel? I don't think I want to do. I mean, it's not that I'm not providing a service by putting out videos, but I also don't want to sit here and not give somebody anything for being a Patreon member. The other thing is I could add Patreon members to the credits at the end of the live streams, at the end of the videos. I could start running a credit screen and just listing off all of the Patreon members. I know a lot of people do that. So, there could be that too, you become, you get your name on a certain list at certain different Patreon levels, I know I'm not going to be like some of the channels where they literally shout off like the top tier. I can't do that. I can't sit here and say, I also, I mean, I might say a thank you if there's a new one, sometime when I'm doing a video. Yeah, I know there's YouTube memberships. I haven't done any of that either. Guess I could. I haven't looked into the YouTube memberships because that is still pretty new. Patreon at least is a little older. But I can actually I don't know. I think I can offer more content through Patreon than I can, because I can also through Patreons put out like coupon codes for my merch store, um, different things like that. So I don't think I can do that. I don't know what all I can do with the YouTube memberships. Plus, I'm still also pretty sure that YouTube takes a big cut of that, just like they do everything else that they freaking have their hands on. Um, I guess I'm a founding member for Patreon because I've been on Patreon for so long. Um, that they don't really take any fees. I know that if I were to create a Patreon today, um, they would take a higher fee than what they do. But because I've had a Patreon creator account since like, oof, I've had it for a long time. I'm godfathered in before their new plans, so I get a I get a discount for being an original member, I guess. So they don't take as much off the top. Um, okay, I haven't checked that out. I mean, I can check that out. Gives people another opportunity, another way to help. Not that I'm expecting anybody to help. But it would be nice. I could definitely use it right now. I'm kind of struggling. Also struggling to get out content. Obviously. Like right now, I on the phone right now, I have the completely removal of the old harness that is done, filmed. I have to film one. Come on, stupid charging cable. I am just trying to get this phone to stay alive. Anyway, that's a mood on both. You're talking about struggling financially and struggling to get videos out. Yeah, struggling just to be able to get out in the shop. I have not even stepped foot in that shop in, except for to like get something real quick. I have not gone out into the shop and worked in probably 2 weeks. Um, no, I lie. I lie. I was out there last week, but only for like an hour or two. Um, Normally during the week, I'm kind of dead tired and have to go to bed early. Not that I couldn't go out there, but I haven't had anything. I haven't had anything I can do because I was waiting on stuff, like that crimper. Um, yeah, I'm. You're in my thoughts, Kat. Um, I don't know how much to help, but you're definitely in my thoughts. Um, because Kat's been having issues. Kat's been having issues for a while. I mean, it became apparent on one of our lives, but yeah. Um, but anyway, so oh, it's on my eyeball. So yeah, I spent a little time out in the shop the other day. I pulled the harness from the dash all the way back to the taillights out. So everything's literally sitting on the bench. It's just a giant ball of wires. If you see my Instagram post, it's there. That's like almost the whole harness. There's a couple bits still left in the underneath where the dash goes, but it's mainly for um, the aftermarket radio and some other things. There are some things I'd like to do. I'm really probably only going to wire the harness enough for the EFI system at first. Um, Deal with tackling like the radio and different other things afterwards. Because there are some things I want to get done. I do want to make sure that I have a plug. Maybe I might just do it. No, I could just do the harness for the radio. But I think I want to plug for the speakers. I think I want to make a separate unpluggable plug for the speaker wires, so that way I don't have to, if I want to do something, I don't have to pull that all out separately, because that goes down the whole other side of the car. It doesn't run with the power wires. Um, but anyway, um, I was waiting on stuff. I mean, I was waiting on I had to wait on a dimmer switch from American Auto Wire because it wasn't in my kit. Which, oh my God, their customer service. I haven't had that great of customer service in a long time. I sent them one message, um, explaining, that, hey, I wasn't sure if there was supposed to be a dimmer switch in my kit. It didn't have one. Very next freaking message, we will send you one out immediately. I'm like, I have to tell a whole story. I didn't have to jump through hoops and confirm that I had a kit. Nothing. They're just like, what's your address? We'll send it out. I'm like, I haven't seen customer service like that in forever. So they sent me out one. I did receive it the other day. So we'll have a new dimmer switch for the car as well. So basically that's the only thing I think that I really needed. Other than picking up like um the the heated glass, the rear heated glass harness. Um but I mean there's other things that I want to do with this car eventually, so at least I'll have the harness to do it. Eventually I'd like to put aftermarket AC in the car. So it'll fix my HVAC system issue. And some other things. Yeah, defrost. Sorry. Just totally not thinking. Um yeah, but my car's got rear defrost, and I don't know if it even works currently because it did work before we messed with the harness the first time. It did not work after we got the engine fired, so I have to go look into that and see if maybe there was an electrical issue, maybe the relay went bad. Maybe putting in the new harness will fix it if I jump the old wiring into the new harness. We'll see. I also started. I think I said the last time I did pull this out, stripped it, painted it, ended up stripping it again. I had it primed. I sanded it this week. I just reprimed it today, so tomorrow I might try to throw another coat of black on it. And hopefully this time it'll lay down right so I can actually start doing the details. It's just I need some stuff to go right. And I'm hoping at least like this little kit, maybe it'll go right. If I'm not even sure, I might just finish it even if it doesn't come out right. Because the one that I really want to work on is the Chevelle. And well, not the one that I have currently started is the Chevelle. But that one is a lot of modifications. It's not going to go as quick and easy. This one I'm building almost basically out of the box. I've changed a few things. I stripped chrome off of some stuff. But mainly I'm putting in a wood bed. So, and I fabricated the metal hold down strips for the bed itself. But other than that, it's basically going to go in box stock. Like I said, I just, instead of using the decal, I'm putting in a real wood bed. It's going to be balsa wood, not pine or anything, but yeah. Anyway, so there's that. But the Chevelle, that's going to take cutting the whole front cross member off. I'm going to use the cross member off of a NASCAR car, including all of the front suspension off of that, because the stock details are horrible. I think I'm going to do the rear suspension as well, fabricate and make my own. I might have to go out and buy some plastic square rod to make my own frame in the back. What else? I've already modified the front rear bumpers to have actual bumper bolts. We're going to high detail the 454 in it. Ford truck has zero electronics working. May trade it for a Meyer style buggy or with a Corvette. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, as I don't see you throwing in a harness at that truck and it being worth your time. I've got plenty of investment into a harness currently. What started out as like a $1,300 freaking EFI swap is turned into a freaking rabbit hole, which hopefully is ending. Hopefully I don't have to spend much more to get it running and going, and it's not Sniper's fault. This is just me. Um, I could have just thrown the Sniper in with the wiring issues the car has. I did not have to go out and go get a distributor and the Hyperspark and the coil. That was my decision. I just figured if I was going to do it, I might as well do it right. And then in doing that, we found I found it, thought it was going to be easier and cheaper to just do the fuel tank pump instead of doing the inline one. Or at least, again, if I'm going to do it right. And doing it right costs money. And that's kind of also the rabbit hole with the wiring harness. It was, okay, sure, let's splice this into the old harness, and I'd probably be chasing freaking electrical gremlins till the freaking day the car catches fire and burns down. But again, if I'm going to do it right, pull the harness out, put the new one in, start fresh, good grounds, good, good everything else. That might be one thing that I do need to go out and go get, is stuff to do grounds. I have no idea. I didn't even know that was, maybe it's Nike, just do it. I don't know. Maybe it's just do it right. I don't know. I don't tend to enjoy doing things half-assed. I do things with the best of my ability with what I have. If I have the ability to get the right stuff, I tend to try to. Am I of the mindset to go out of my way and spend way more money than I need to? No, I'm not. But there's a certain level of don't go below this line skimping. I mean, if I'm going to pay for something, obviously if I'm not paying for something and I'm making do with what I got, that's one thing. But if I'm going to pay something, I'm one of those people, I don't like to pay for something that I'm going to regret because it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. I don't like wasting money. If I'm going to spend money, it's going to be the right shit. It's just the way I am. I don't like spending money just to throw it away. Yes, an upgrade, or like, even these. There are plenty of crimpers out there. There are plenty of no-name fucking whatever crimpers for 20, 30 bucks. Buy them all day long on freaking Amazon. All you got to do is search ratcheting crimpers and they pop up. But I wasn't going to go get the cheap of the cheap. I did my research. I found out what brands were recommended, and I bargain hunted among the brands that were proven to be dependable. And that's why I ended up with this kit from, I don't even know how to say it. It's IWISS. IWIZ. I don't know. Again, it's got, 5 different dies. So the dies are in here, plus the one that's in the tool itself. Came with a crimper and screwdrivers. I can't give a review on it. I know that there are channels out there, and God knows I ran over 90,000 of them. It's one of the freaking things I hate about YouTube and Google and everything else. When you're trying to find a new product that you don't have any expertise in, there are so many people that go out, oh, this just came in the mail, I'm going to review it. It's not a review. It's not a review unless you have used it and mastered it and understand what makes it good or bad. just because you got it today and opened it up and looked at it, that's not a review. That's an unboxing. You know, it's not helpful. It just lets me know what's in the box. Well, I can see what's in the box on the freaking on the website. Yeah, little rant. I cannot tell you how much time I wasted trying to find good information on what to get and what not to get. To be honest, there are no reviews on comparing these things to themselves. I can find a bunch of people that have bought just the one. But to find people that have bought, the different brands and literally sat down and compared the different brands, against each other to find out what ones were worth it, which ones have a standard level of quality. Dye tolerances, those things are important. And I just couldn't find it. Even when you try to search for reviews on Google, they're all freaking auto-generated freaking reviews. Ooh, what's the highest rated? Well, how many idiots are freaking buying this shit and just saying, yep, 5 stars? Without actually knowing the tool and whether or not this is actually a good tool. Any dumb idiot can pick up a fucking wrench and say, yep, it works. It doesn't mean that it's a good wrench. What tolerances does the head slip on the bolt? At what point does it shatter or snap or bend? I might have to go. I think I've seen a couple stuff, but again, they didn't do ratcheting. They didn't do any of the things that I was looking for. I tend to go to Project Farm or what's another one? Torque something or other. For tool, actual like torture testing of tools. Let's go to actually YouTube. Let's see if I can find it. Torque test channel. Torque test channel or Project Farm have been pretty good places for me to go look. Even though I have issues with some of the way that Project Farm does their testing, sometimes it's not really realistic, or at least doesn't show. I don't know. I have some issues with the way they've done some of their testing. Now, it just might be that was just the way that he thought of to do it or whatever. I mean, we're all human. But, it is what it is. Anyway. But yeah, I could not find any decent actual professional reviews on ratcheting crimpers. So I kind of just had to throw it out in the wind. And I still don't know. I haven't used these yet. But I have nothing to compare them to. I have no idea whether, this tool is as good as another tool because I've never used a set of ratcheting crimpers before. Well, I mean, we've all used the stupid freaking, auto part store freaking plier style, which are all crap. But I knew it was crap. I knew that I can't do any nice crimp with them. They were just get me by fucking crimps. Like I said, I did a lot of research. It was between this brand and Wirefy. That's the brand that I got for the heat shrink tubing, but Wirefy was the other brand that was down at the price level that I wanted to pay. There was like one or two other brands that were there, but this one happened to be like on sale. I think I paid like $30-$40 for that crimper plus like 4 extra dies. But there was a certain one that I didn't want. I could have gotten the Wirefy one with the quick exchange jaws. They literally just pop out and pop in. But the problem with that one was I wanted one that I could upgrade the dies to professional dies down the road. So even if I don't like the dies that are in this one, as long as the tool itself is decent, I can swap out the dies because they're pretty universal with better brand dies. Which is the part that's where the money is. The money is in the part that's actually, forming the crimp. So like I said, if the crimp, if I don't like the way that this is forming the crimps, I can go out and go buy the good brand dies at $30 a die, for the die that I need. But this is a good starter. This gives me 5 different style of crimps that I can make. And it looks like it's pretty decent. If I decide I need something else down the road, I can buy those specific dies. As long as what do they call the frame? As long as the frame is decent, I can get different dies. Like I said, I got to cut up one of these dies right off the freaking bat. I got to modify it to fit the terminal connector that comes in the kit, because it's got 2 little wings that if I don't cut a slot in the die is just going to crush them. So there's that. So hopefully this saves me from having to get the 2 American Auto Wire single-use crimpers. My lovely troll is in the chat. Love you, troll. And hopefully will let me get me started on building this harness so I can get it in the car. Because again, I still want to drive this car before it gets too cold outside. He was working on business things as in being at work, or working on business things as in your self business. I don't know if you have anything down here for me to show off today. I can't show that one on camera. I can show your llamas. You have your llamas down here. Her lovely llama earrings, if it'll come on. There we go. It's got little these are handmade by my resident troll. And she's got these other cool, I think I showed these blue stones before too, but I don't believe they come out really nice on this camera. She can tell you what these are, but it is a really, really pretty blue stone. And I wish it would come into focus. There it goes. Really pretty blue stone. And she's turning these into jewelry too. Cuzco? Oh no, that's Cat saying that. Oh, okay, you were updating your business page. Is this the heart? Oh no, this is a piggy. It's a flying pig. Or is that no, that's a pig. Let's see what else you got over here. It said I can't show the one because it's not safe for work. I don't think you really have anything else down here, hon. Just the llama, the flying pig, the thing I can't show because it's not safe for. It's not decent content. I could share it in the live group, but I can't share it up on TV. Obvious reasons. Sorry for you guys that aren't in the live stream group on Facebook, but I can't share this one up on YouTube. It's not just a pig. We call him Mr. Pig, yes. I don't know if Jess will do call him Mr. Pig. I don't have any of her trolls down here either. Her adopted trolls are absolutely adorable. Now that my troll... Hey, I adopted a troll. She's in the chat. Anyway, now that we've completely been hijacked, I did show a troll? I didn't think I showed a troll. Did I show a troll last week, maybe? I didn't think I did. Anyway. And our little troll's up in bed. But anyway, like I said earlier, I updated my Patreon. I still need to go in and tweak a few more things. I want to add some stuff, but if I get some help with what to add or what not to, what might be good to entice people to be a Patreon member, that'd be freaking awesome. Sorry for your loss, Cat. But yeah, where is everybody today? By the way, hi Pilot. I'm sorry, I did notice you were in here. I was in the middle of a conversation. How long ago was that? Pilot. There he is. Well, you're just gonna have to work at it, Cat. I mean, to be all fair, the two people that are above you in points have contributed a hell of a lot to the channel. Maybe not in actual donations, but both of them have contributed a lot. So I would not be working on the Trans Am in my own garage if it wasn't for the two of them. Just saying. So, in all honesty and fairness, they do deserve where they're at. But anywho, the Sugar Foxy. Pilot, are you way behind again? Because that little piggy I shared like freaking 5 minutes ago. Might need to refresh your browser, Pilot. Truck update. I still need to install the wiper motor. Still need to install the brake booster that I got. Saved my butt. I wouldn't have a butt. Yep. Jess drove the truck this week. She'll have to tell you. She's got a new nickname for it. I don't like it, but she can share it. She has a nickname for the truck. We're not calling it that, but yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, truck. Windshield wiper motor, still need to replace that because yeah, it does whatever the hell it wants right now. You forgot what you called it? Didn't you call it a poop smear? A shit stain? I think she called it the shit stain because she thinks that the color is ugly. But yeah. I do have the brake booster and the windshield wiper motor. They're sitting on the garage floor. Haven't had a chance to get to it. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. I don't know. No, I do not accept your petition. You can get 100 people in this live stream. I'll call it shit stain. How's that, Kat? If you can get 100 people, and not just like for 10 seconds. If you can get 100 people to come over here and watch our live stream, we'll make a we will officially nickname it shit stain. There you go, Jess. Because right now it's dead. I mean, we got 4 people. Well, actually, no, I lied. We're not dead. We got 4 people in here. 4 people and only 2 likes. Where's the likes, people? No, I am not making a video petition. Not doing it. No, because that doesn't help me. No, well, to have 100 comments, there has to be 100 people. Well, I guess technically it helps me, but it doesn't. The point is Cat's got to get the 100 people in here. If I get the 100 people in here, then that's not helping my cause, because I don't want it to be named Shit State. Gadur. Yeah, well, yes, I do agree. Video interaction, great, voila. But maybe I'll do a TikTok for that. Well, welcome back to the future, pilot. Pilot was stuck in the past. Like I said, welcome back, pilot. You've been time warped. Oh God, that's hilarious. So what's everybody doing tonight? I mean, obviously know where I'm at. We know where you guys are at, but what we got going on this weekend? I said it was about 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, I have a give or take a bit because I'm technically a little bit ahead of you guys, because there's still that lag from the time that I filmed, that at the time that it's being recorded, by the time you guys see it, there is a little bit of a lag there. It's like 30-40 second lag by the time you guys actually see versus what's actually live. And then of course there's still the lag in return of when I actually get to see your comments. So, so like, I mean, I can type something down in here right now. That it is, let's see, 9:42. So if I put in 9:42 and put this in the comments, I'm hitting 9:42 right now. So we'll see how long it takes before you guys, from the time that I say it up on screen to the time that the comment appeared. You put the buggy in the live chat. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. It's gonna need some work, but it doesn't look like it needs that much work. And if it's got the air-cooled Volkswagen engine in it, then they're not hard to work on. And there's like so many less issues you have to worry about to make it run. So there's that. Oh, it's the Corvair motor. Well, that's a little more complicated than the Volkswagen engine. A little more power, I think, though. But definitely more complicated. The Volkswagen engine's stupid simple. I don't know if this is going to show up on camera because it's gray. Could almost just fucking leave this damn thing in primer and call it freaking done. Project truck. Just paint the rest of the damn truck up. Yeah, it's gonna come out all freaking. But yeah, at least the primer is nice and good on this now. Obviously, there's no bed in it because I'm gonna put a wood bed in it. And it's the Foos truck, so it should have the Foos logo on the back if you can see it. To stay in focus. But yeah, this thing should be ready for paint. I'm gonna give it a quick scuff with a light sanding sponge, and then we'll shoot it in black and see how it comes out. I did get a package from you this morning. It was a soft package. I got that first thing this morning. And whom? With whom? I will send you a picture of it after. I mean, unless you got a second package that I didn't know of, but this was like from Mystic something. I'm sure it was business related. Oh, him. I think you were asking. I see where you guys were confused. Where's Chris and Brad? I needs to get on the horn and find out where some people are, because unless they're just late. There's messaging Chris. Brad hasn't been on in 20 hours. Joe, where the hell you at? You're already here. Okay, I think that's everybody. Okay. Where's the resident senior, I wonder? Uh, oh. Senior, duh, old man. Got it. Woohoo. Who else? Somebody wanted to join the live. I forget who that was. Somebody knew somebody that wanted to join. I don't remember. Anywho. And yeah, I posted like several places. I posted on both the page and the community group. Pasted on my personal account. So I mean, and I didn't put the notification out like 20 minutes before we went live. So I don't know. It seems like if I wait till the last minute, Pilot, you're not old. You're just young. Um, if I wait till the last minute to say that I'm going live, we tend to get people in here. Anytime I try to be proactive and put out the live stream early and message a bunch of people, it tends to be dead. I don't get it. I would think that if I put the word out there and people saw it, then they would have more people popping in. But, it is what it is. Every week's different. And then sometimes, like I said, it tends to be really slow until like 10 and then it picks up. Chris is definitely a senior, yes. Though if we go by that standards, then Pilot is. But I think we were all talking about Teen Mechanic. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we were talking about Teen Mechanic. Because I'm pretty sure Chris is working, not going at a cruise, and Pilot's obviously not at a cruise right now because he's probably home watching us. Um, yeah, Spicy Child. Mm. By the way, should I put a sale out for my merch? I don't know when though. Got to figure out a time to put a sale out because I'd like to sell some shirts. I'd like to, you know, I don't think I've made a single sale off of those new shirts yet. And I don't know if it's just because people don't know where to find them or people don't want them or probably both. Um, but I can pull one out. I've worn it so many freaking times and it still looks basically brand new. So they're really, really good shirts. All right. Streamlabs is a creeper. I'm literally just talking about my merch and it just pops up the freaking link right there. Well, I didn't do that one on purpose. That was just a pre-scheduled one. My dog is snoring. He's right over there. He's snoring. Um, but but yeah. Um, I think these ones are definitely worth your money. Really good quality. If there's something that you think that I need to make a shirt of, or a hat, or whatever, they're listening. Who's listening? Oh, FBI man. Streamlabs FBI. But anyway, if there's something that you feel that you think you would buy that I don't have, you want me to sell my llamas up on my merch store? Can you paint little NOVAtazz shirts on them? Also, NOVAtazz llamas. Cusco the llama. Oh, the llamas are listening. Yeah, your gang of llamas don't like me. If I remember correctly, they were the mutiny llamas. Are you chasing a bunny over there? You are. You are literally on your back, running in the air. Our dog is weird. He's laying on his back with his paws up in the air, and they're cycling. I think he just woke himself up. Nope, he's still on his back. Weird doggo. Yeah, basically, he's running in fucking air. But yeah, um, I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. Oh wait, I know what I wanted to talk about. So I saw an article, and you know how that we've all been having to deal with microtransactions. You know, you're playing a video game and you don't have enough money to get the thing you want, and then they're like, oh, well, buy this loot drop, or buy this, you know, certain amount of points for real monies and things like that. And then we start getting them in other things. You know, you buy a product, but you have to pay a subscription to unlock its full service. We have that with our security cameras. You know, all right, so you buy a camera system and whatever, but then to be able to use it, you got to pay a subscription. It's like, I have the product, it's my internet, you know, it's my power. Why do I got to pay you? Um, but I just saw an article the other day. BMW is charging in some countries a subscription fee to use the heated seats in your car. A paid subscription to use a feature you paid for in your car. Like, what the hell? I mean, that's like me buying a house and then I have to pay a monthly subscription to use the toilet. Yep, you're paying rent, you bought this house, whatever. You forgot to pay your toilet flushing fee this month. No toilet flushing for you. Um, I will have to find the article and post the link. Hold on. There you go. There's the link. But yeah, $18 a month uh for heated seats among other features on their cars. It's not a USA thing, but if it's happening in other countries, it's only a matter of time before it makes its way over here. But we all want these electric cars. You know, Tesla's a great one for this. You know, you have features in your car. Tesla can technically shut them off at any time they want to. It's the problem with having a smart car. It's, if somebody has access to the fact that, they have control of your software, they can just boop. Nope, you no longer have access. Not yours. Yeah, you don't pay your sewage bill. Your sewage doesn't stop. You just start getting a bill. It's a little different. You know, uh, bought an air conditioning system, but unless you pay for the premium subscription, you can only bring the air conditioning down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. You want that 68 degrees Fahrenheit, you got to pay for the premium subscription for your air conditioner to freaking blow that cold. You know, you buy the microwave, it'll only heat things at 30-second intervals unless you pay for the premium subscription and the ads. Then you can freaking microwave for your heart's content. It's just hilarious. You know, you buy a product, that should be it. You bought the product. You shouldn't have to buy a subscription with the product. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, again, it's not like it's a service. It's not like they're providing a service outside. So, like, I can understand something like OnStar paying a service for that, okay? But to pay a service for a function that's in your car that they do not have to do any work to provide that service is I guess my point of why I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Um um yeah, but again, it's still, at least OnStar is a service. It's not something that's a function built into the car. I mean, it is a function built into the car, but the monitoring of that is a service. So there is somebody at the other end that has to do all of the logistics and stuff for the OnStar. There's the person at the other end of the button when you push the button. Um, Monitoring service, all of that stuff. It's not like paying a subscription to have your seats move forward and backwards for your adjustment, or having a subscription to use the heated seats or the HVAC in your car. Could you imagine, again, having to pay a subscription to be able to turn the fans on or off in your car? I mean, that's where I'm finding it ridiculous. Nope, can't use defrost because you didn't pay the subscription. You know, uh, you want the. I mean, they kind of already do the radio thing, because if you have satellite radio, you got to pay for that. But then again, I can always go around that by just, plugging my phone in, listening to Spotify. Yeah, hacking BMWs to be able to turn it back on. Just fucking hardwire it. Bypass the fucking computer. Because that's where it's shutting it off at. You just freaking hook it up to a fucking button switch. You won't have the fancy touchscreen anymore to fucking do it, but, good old fashioned analog button. It's either on or it's off. Bumper with a button with a relay and maybe a timed resistor, a timed relay. But yeah, I just find it hilarious. It was one of the things that I came across today. What's this other one? I found something. It was a YouTube channel that I came across today. It was something about Ford says do not put a camper on their EV 150, and apparently this person is putting a camper. But the thing is they're not really putting a camper on their truck. It's literally might as well just be a pop cap. Because that's all it is. It utilizes the bed, and it's one of the, it's not even. So the thing is, it's not even like the old school campers, okay, like we used to have, where yes, it sat in your bed, but it had a floor. It had a floor. It had all of that stuff. The camper that they have, it's a truck cap that you can crank up and make higher. And it's got some beds built into the top half of it, but the bottom half of it is still his actual truck bed. There's no floor to it. It just bolts to to the bed, to the bed rails. There's nothing lower than the bed rails on this truck cap. So it's not like I would consider that a true test. He's not towing a camper. He's not putting one of those old school heavy like modular camper units that sit in the bed. You know, it's literally just it's a truck cap that, like I said, that expands upwards. I don't see that as, I guess it's a camper, but I don't know. It just, to me, it's cheating. It's not testing the fact of whether or not an EV can do that or not. And the funny thing is he's bringing a gas powered truck with him with a generator in the back in case the truck dies. Because they're going to be going all the way from, I think, middle of the United States, somewhere all the way up to Alaska. And yeah, sorry, I don't see it working. And even if it does work, it's not a true test because he's not. I don't think he's really pushing it. I mean, it's like having a small load in the bed of your truck. It's not much different, in my opinion. Let me see if anybody messaged me back. No. I don't know where anybody's at. Except for you, Kat. And Big E was here earlier. I don't know what he's doing now. And we got Pilot. And let's say, I'm trying to hang out. Because I know that people tend to show up after 10. But I don't know. Whoops. That's not what I wanted there. I don't know if that showed up or not. No, I guess it didn't. Oh, Big E is playing War Thunder. Discord is dying him out. But I don't know what else to talk about. Give me some topics. Let's talk about stuff. I know Kat had a exhaust sound test I saw earlier. I think I saw it on both Facebook and somewhere else. Possibly Instagram. So we have that. Like I said, I don't have anything new content wise. Like I said, working on the model. Doing what I can because I can't really do much out in the garage when I have Luca here. He doesn't behave well enough, even though I want him to be out there. I don't get any work done. I end up chasing him all over the place. At least nothing I can film. I could be out there working on stuff, but not stuff that needs me filming. How are the people calling a 99 Miata an old car? Well, I mean, yeah, technically. It's not an old car to me, but to anybody born in the early 2000s, it's older than they are. I mean, when I was in the 90s and I was in school, an old car would have been a 70s car, which would have been about the same. When I was in school, a 70s muscle car was old. And that's kind of about the same distance as a Miata is now. I mean, that car's what, 23, 24 years old. I remember when I was drooling over my friend's early 90s Camaro RS, IROC, whatever it was. I think we figured out it might have been I don't know if RS or Z20. I know it was at least an IROC, but I think it might have had a different trim package on top of the IROC. Yeah, it's called getting old, Cat. Yeah, and guess what? In a couple of years, fuel injection and gasoline engines in itself will be obsolete. So just think about how sad that is. Forever Young. All right, who is that? Fucking awesome song. Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart. Pretty sure Rod Stewart. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Rod Stewart. Could be wrong. Could be somebody else. But I do like that song. Oh, and then you got people out there just throwing freaking Hellcat engines in Miatas. I mean, even that's freaking old now. I mean, geez, that was almost like 3, 4 years ago now. Freaking Hellcat Miata. The funny thing is that he now owns the guy who bought the car, the Miata with the Hellcat engine, also owns the chassis that Hellcat engine came out of, which is really funny. It was the hell was it? It's not Goon Squad. It's okay. Didn't I say Rod Stewart? What did I say? I don't remember anymore. Brain sucks. DIY Gang. When DIY Gang was restoring the I'm getting old, pilot. But when DIY Gang was restoring the burnt Hellcat, they got a lot of their sheet metal from a wrecked Hellcat, I think down in Florida. And that wrecked Hellcat, the people who bought that from the salvage used the engine for the Hellcat Miata. And then fast forward another year or so, the guy who built the burnt Hellcat then bought the Hellcat Miata. It's absolutely hilarious, and that's cool. So the gas tank is salvageable. That's good. I didn't think it was that bad that it wasn't salvageable. Oh, you mean that tube that was plugged up? Yeah. Whatever happened with the tube? Your blocked up tube or rusty tube or whatever it was. We must know, cat. We must know. And I need a fresh beer. I do not have. I don't have a. I don't have like a be right back screen of any sort. I have no like away from camera screen for me to be able to like run to the bathroom or go get a drink or anything like that. I need to work on that. I need a commercial break screen. Well, there you go. The only problem is now you have a bunch of water in your gas tank. Hopefully, you were able to get the water out or to get it dried significantly that it doesn't rust. But the fuel sending unit went. I need to figure out what to do next. Put an electric fuel pump in it. If you're still going carbureted, just make sure it's a low flowing or a low pressure unit. And I mean, granted, no, it's not going to be original, but the thing is they don't make enough parts for this car. And the parts that you can find are stupid expensive. Sometimes you need to think outside the box. But a little tiny electric fuel pump, either in line or in the tank, and call it a day. Well, I mean, the thing is you don't really they make universal ones that go in the tank. You're just gonna have to take your measurements and set it up. Or like I said, you can get the ones that are. I mean, as far as a float gauge, yeah, they make whole custom drop-in units. You just got to take your measurements. You get electric fuel pump and the sending unit that is adjustable, and just go aftermarket. You're just gonna have to do what you got to do, you know. And if you find an original one down the road, well then, you know, you could always drop it in. You know, as long as you don't do anything crazy and hack up a bunch of original stuff, you should be able to go back later down the road when you find something at a reasonable price, whether it's another salvaged used part or finding an NOS part. I mean, that's my opinion and my advice. Like I said, find a you know, a customized aftermarket one. There's companies out there that will make ones on the spot as well. As long as you give them information, like you're gonna need to know like your tank depth. I think mainly it's just tank depth, and the opening on the top of the tank. I wouldn't want to pay $120 for it either, Cat. Just saying. You know, maybe down the road, and you have that car, you know, going good. But the thing is right now, you don't even know if that car's, you know, I mean, it's not bad. But I would be willing to spend $120 for an NOS fuel pump or a sending unit after I know the car is going to be worth putting the money into. That, again, just my opinion. You do you. You know, it's just the way my opinion on it. But then again, I don't know how much a generic freaking drop-in sending unit is. Maybe that's more than $120. Maybe that is the better option. You're just gonna have to do your research. I mean, if it's 40, $50 for a generic drop-in, and it's $120 for the factory one, but if it's like $100 for the drop-in one and only $120 for the generic for the NOS one, then yeah, go for the NOS one. That'll get you by for a little bit, but I don't think you can. I don't think that's legal. That'll get the car running and going. You know, it'll let you get other work done on the car and get the engine and all that stuff situated. But if you want to get that car inspected and be able to drive it, you know, I don't know if the jerry can thing's gonna work. Unless you're just joking. Oh, okay. That's right, because you still have the mechanical pump up on the engine. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that if you were to look, that the actual sending unit itself, the part that actually reads the fuel gauge, the fuel amount, I'm pretty sure that shared with other cars. Maybe not the whole drop-in unit, but that particular part, the part that actually senses where the fuel is and sends the signal out, I bet you that was on several different cars. And you could probably find a car that was more popular and can find parts for and rob that part in to fix the one that's on your car. You know, instead of replacing the whole unit, just replace the actual sensor. You know, not changing the float and all of that stuff, just the sensor itself. You know, other than that, or maybe taking, you know, maybe testing it with a multimeter. You know, maybe it's not the actual sending unit itself. Maybe there's a break in the wire from the sending unit to the front of the car. Have you tested the actual sending unit with a multimeter to make sure that it's not reading anything? So like I said, it could possibly be something else. Well, yeah, that might do it. But like I said, maybe you might be able to find a replacement, something that shares the same parts, and buy one for another car that shares the same parts with your car, and just rob the parts off of it to fix yours. I've done that before. Technically, I disassembled a Chevy distributor to replace parts on my Pontiac distributor. Even though the rotation is the opposite direction, the parts on them are still pretty much the same. And yeah, I robbed Peter to pay Paul. Got my Pontiac distributor working, even though I didn't have a Pontiac distributor to take the parts off of. But because they share the same freaking several parts, it was just a matter of swapping them over. But yeah, I've had to do some stuff when I haven't had money to get shit to work. I mean, obviously, I don't have that distributor in the car anymore. I've replaced it. In fact, I don't even have the replacement distributor in the car anymore. I could actually probably put that up on Craigslist and sell it, or Facebook Marketplace. I just realized that I could sell that other distributor. Not until after I get this Hyperspark up and going. Because I don't want to start selling parts for my carbureted setup if this whole other setup doesn't work the way I want it to. The way I can always go back to throwing a carburetor on it. I haven't done anything that would cause me not to throw a carb back on it. I don't think I have to do anything that would cause me not to be able to throw a carb back on it. But yeah. Oh, it's 10:17. Where is everybody? Oh, I am running out of things to talk about. So you have, is that one of the only things that you have left stopping you from getting the car up and going, is the sending unit and the fuel tank? Or is that just your current hurdle, and that you possibly have more hurdles to cross? A dead silence. Still need to do the brakes and the bushings. Yeah, there's still people here setting off fireworks too. There's been a few with the big booms. I mean, basically out here in the mountains, it's fireworks here and there consistently throughout the whole summer. Then again, if you lived over in Japan, almost every weekend is firework weekend. I mean, they literally have festivals almost every weekend for setting off fireworks. Saw a cool video. Somebody traveled to one of the firework companies out in Japan, where a lot of the fireworks are made out of byproducts from making rice, which I didn't know. It was a pretty cool video to watch. But they took through most of the process except for like the top secret, business secrets, with how they make their fireworks, and then like how they have dedicated fields just for launching fireworks. Some of their big fireworks are almost like 48 inches across. It's just amazing. I mean, literally a 48-inch round fucking firework. I'm a firework guy. I like them. I would go see fireworks every weekend. So I don't really mind them. I just don't like them when they set them off at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, dusk, sure. I can deal with that. Just not 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. That kind of pisses me off a little bit. That's no longer respectful time for shooting off fireworks. At least to me. I mean, you guys can have your own opinion on that, but I don't mind fireworks. I just, if I'm gonna see the boom, I'd like to be able to see them. You know. Well, hello. We have a surprise to me guest. Let's flip us around here so we're looking at each. No, because now I'm still looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Let's switch it back. I mean, normally I'm sitting here looking like this, but I'm apparently sitting this way this time. Welcome. Hello. How are you? Even though we've been talking to you for the last hour in the chat, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, thank you. Yeah, doing okay. I was waiting for it to cool off a little bit out here so that I can actually do this out here. Because it's been so freaking hot lately. So
yeah, I don't know what Harbor Freight was thinking, but I literally walked into Harbor Freight today because I was looking for, I think I was looking for zip ties and some other miscellaneous like cheap stuff that I wasn't looking to spend a whole lot of money on. To do this, I think I was looking for actual electric tape, zip ties, and some masking tape. Oh my god. There's if Chris was in here, there would be a comment about your top going down. So I'll make it for him.
Oh god.
I hold on.
What?
Hold on. We need to have a moment of silence. Do you remember Jeff from the Mighty TA that I talked about a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, he's had a loss. He dropped, I think he either dropped or his hood hinges got stuck or whatever. I think he dropped it. His hood on his TA. His Brentwood Brown 79 TA hood. It's had a fatality.
Ooh. Yeah, that.
He has pictures of it up on his group page, but it's mangled. It's pretty bent out of shape. The nose is the very tip, the point, it's all bent in and up, and then like when you close it all the way, there's like a big crease like halfway down the fender line of it, and it's all jacked. So yeah, and those aren't cheap.
No, I can imagine. Like,
and even used ones that have been sitting on a car for 40 some years, they're not cheap.
Oh no, definitely not. Like, and something actually, because at our car meet last night.
Wait. We need to have the moment of silence, and then we can talk. I promised him. Okay.
I was gonna say, last night at the car meeting, I didn't have a lot of cars come out, but there was one, and he's a fairly frequent person to come to the meet. I can't remember his name, honestly. My brain hasn't worked very well lately to even remember people's names that I see every freaking week. But he has a 1968 Firebird with a 400 out of a 77.
68 with a 77 400.
Yes.
It's not the most desirable 400, but okay.
No, well,
maybe it may have been just of what was available.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I'm assuming that they blew up the original motor or something like that.
Because pre-76, preferably 74 and older are the 400s that you want.
Well, the one issue he's having right now, actually, and apparently this is a common problem, is, so here's the alternator bracket. It's not very thick for one. I was kind of surprised how thin it was. But what keeps happening is that he's, the belt keeps flying off because he's not able to tighten the alternator down all the way because his bracket keeps bending.
That's
And
not.
it's only attached by 2 points. It's just this curved little piece, and it's just attached here, attached here. There's no middle support or anything like that, and it's not super thick.
I don't know.
Um,
I can go out there and go show you mine, and you can see whether or not you feel that it's the same size as his. I ain't bending that. I don't know how the hell he's bending it. I mean, unless his is not stock.
it might not be. Well, the one thing is, because he wasn't the one that did the motor swap. He bought it like that. So,
Right.
and that's one of the things. Like, actually, I've had it actually on my YouTube channel. That exact Firebird. I did a video on it last year.
I'll have to go out to my shop. Remind me later, and I will take pictures of my bracketry.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the one thing that we were trying to like. I was just giving him some sort of ideas, like what you could do, whatever else, and
Yeah, and
I
I have
actually
dialed
told him,
calibers. I have dialed calibers and everything, so I can actually measure how thick mine is as well.
"Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'd be cool as well." Because like the one thing is actually something that I suggested to him is go to the machine shop here in town and have them just fab up a thicker one for you, right? That's
Good,
not
but
going to bend.
there's plenty of them out there
Oh, I know, but
that you could probably pick up one on a
well,
Pontiac forum.
he has said that because he's asked around whatever else on these forums, etc., and he said that there's 4 different styles apparently for the 400. Um, and so trying to find his is one of the harder ones to find.
Not if you get the whole setup. Like if you get the whole setup.
I guess well, I get him not wanting to do that and just getting the bracket.
Well, I'm saying like get not the whole setup, but all of the supporting brackets. There are not that many of them. There's only like 3 or 4.
Okay. Well, say like, and just looking at where it's supposed to actually go into, because I didn't really find anywhere that
The
it
alternator,
could, but
yeah, the alternator should go up in the top driver's side corner.
yeah, and it does. Like you'd think that
With
for how
power
thin it
steering
is, you'd think
underneath
there
of
would
it.
be, yeah, you'd think that there would be a supporting bracket
There
though for
is.
it, and it doesn't have anything.
There is.
And there's not even like, and there's not even implementation for a support bracket on his particular bracket.
There is. Hold on. I'll see if I can.
Well, not on his. Like
No, I'm saying that he might not have it. Is my point because it doesn't.
Well, there isn't even a hole or anything anywhere other than the 2 holes on the end for a support bracket, unless if there's something that bends down and goes through one of the same holes. That's what I'm getting at.
There is. I'm trying to find. I might have to go to a video.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I was going by what I thought when he was talking about.
Use that. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to show up. Share screen, Chrome tab, Google Photos. Here we go. All right. I can't zoom in, I don't think. But you can see here's the top half of the bracket that comes up.
Right? Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Then there is a support down here. And that has a through bolt that goes straight into the head.
Yeah, see on
Actually,
yeah,
no, I lie. It goes into the power. It goes into the back bracket for the power steering pump.
Yeah, see, his has that bolt and whatever else, obviously, but it does not have that second bracket down there.
The one in the front and the back on the bottom?
Yeah, on the bottom bracket doesn't have that.
The one in the front.
The supporting bracket that you were talking about doesn't have that.
Yeah. Do I?
All he has is that curved piece that actually physically bolts it on, and that's it.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me close that before I start. Let me give me a half a second here. Because I'm pretty sure I sent you guys pictures of me painting all of those brackets.
I believe you did, yeah. I was looking at that.
And let's see if I can find them. Media. How far back do I need to go? There's your vuck. Your vuck. I probably just sounded that really bad. What's the news on that thing, by the way?
Well, there is zero electrics that are working. Like what I did was because today I'm like, you know what, maybe the battery is just not great. They said they replaced the battery, but it looks somewhat old. I said, screw it. I put jumper cables from my car to it, and nothing.
Oh.
Like you turn the key, there's nothing. Like you try and turn on the lights and everything, nothing is working. So,
Might have like
the
what
host,
happened to my TA a while back.
yeah, well, like the hopes of actually trying to get that thing to, at the very least, turn over is probably out of the cards. So, at least for me, because with the way I've been, especially lately, I can't take on a project quite like that.
Right.
So honestly, punting it for that Manx buggy is probably what I'm gonna do because the Manx is gonna be a lot easier to get going, I think. Especially it being air cooled and the fact that the motor actually turns by hand. I just need to get a key made for it. Other than that, and technically, I could probably just jump it because it's. I don't. I'm pretty sure the ignition is just on the dash, so it's quite convenient that way. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of at, and with the Corvair motor and that thing, that'll be really fun actually if I can get it going.
Yeah,
Because
that's a lot of motor for that little tiny car.
yeah, well, it would jump from about 40 horsepower stock to anywhere between 90 to 160, just depending on what Corvair motor it is.
Yeah.
So it's like that'd be fun, and like because looking at it, it's very interesting because it's not an actual Myers Manx. They use a very similar body, but like the windshield's incorrect. It does have the wrong hood on it, and it actually has the opening like where the engine cover would be. The Myers didn't actually have an engine cover. Period. It was all exposed.
Oh.
So this one has one of those. So it's just like okay, so it's a different style, very similar, but there's a couple of key things that aren't correct on it.
Right.
So for it to be an actual Myers, which is disappointing to a certain degree, but you know, it's got a Corvair motor. That's kind of cool. And like, regardless, I'm going to be, like, I won't be upside down on the Bruck doing this trade
Right.
at all. Like, even if I can't get that thing running, it's probably still worth more than the Max. So.
Alrighty. So this. I need to go back and go find the video that I took taking that stuff off. It was a time lapse video. But yeah, so like there's that. It's still on. No, it's not on. Take all that stuff off before. Yeah, so that one that comes up over top, it bolts down to the back side of the front of the power steering pump and to the front of the water pump slash yeah, it's the water pump housing. And then it comes up around the front. That's the front one. The back one bolts to the back of the power steering pump, hooks into the top inner bolt hole of the head. It's like hold on, I can share this again. Which is this? It's under Google Photos again. Share screen, Chrome tab, Google Photos. All right, now don't think I can make this any bigger. I might be able to change the shape a little, which will make it bigger. But anyway, all right, so this bracket here, it bolts in right here at the top of the water pump.
Yep.
It's got a bolt location here. This is all one bracket. It's a big C. It has a bolt location here at the front of the water pump. This is the water pump bracket here that comes up. The one in the back comes off of the back of the water pump. It has the adjustment for the water pump on it and whatever. And then the through bolt for the lower bolt on the alternator, which goes right through here. Which I do believe there's a round metal tube. It's a spacer that goes from the back of the where the alternator goes through. It's only like this thin, right? And then you have the bracket, and then you have a spacer that goes all the way to the back where it meets the head. So there's literally a spacer that fits in here. It's a metal tube.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, and so your bolt goes through the front of the alternator, through these two brackets, or either goes through the two brackets, then through the alternator, then the spacer that takes up this space here, and then terminates inside the head. The top one is just a small bolt, and the only thing that does is tighten for the adjustability. So none of this should bend. Now, I don't know if it's bending because he doesn't have this spacer in here.
Which it might be that, but also because that C bracket, which almost doesn't look like a C on his, but
well, you see, it comes up here above the alternator. It comes down here, makes its connection here, then comes down underneath the front, behind the pulleys, and then comes up again to meet the power steering pump.
Yeah, see, I don't think he has that full bracket like that, to be honest. Because all he literally had is the little black piece, like it was painted black. It was only about yay long. There was just a little bit of a curve. That's all he had.
Yeah. Let me see if I can go back through my footage that I have and see if I can have all of those laid out, because I should have all of that.
Yeah, because and just, and that was just, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, hey, you know what? Like I just ended up just telling him, go to the machine shop here in town because he can probably help you out if you need something custom made.
Right.
Because I know he does incredible work there too. So. Actually, that's something I could do. And so now, actually, because of that dead battery, I actually have the Optima battery from Stitch into this thing.
Yeah.
So, which is probably it's the better place for it, to be honest. And it's not saying that Stitch isn't worthy of an Optima battery, but
alrighty. Well, we have
MSD.
the radiator.
Where is the volume? There it is. All right. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, because of the battery, like, the one thing is, it's not that that car isn't worthy of having the Optima battery in it, but this has the MSD box, right? So if this battery is even slightly low, it will not like it. So having the nice AGM battery will be a lot better.
Yeah. Here's a different view of that C bracket. It's just the one that's right up here in the front. So it's this one that's got the Z in it.
You see, his was not like that. So
yeah, this is how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
So you see, there's the mounting bolt for the water pump, and then if you look right here, this is the mounting hole for the alternator. It comes through here and then into here, and there's a spacer that goes right here. I was hoping that I would show the spacer in this video. I don't know yet. Hold on. We're going to bounce around a little bit here. Apparently not. But yeah, so like, where is that spot? So yeah, this right here is the mounting hole for the power steering pump, which, yeah, you can see my mouse. So that's the mounting hole for the power steering pump. This one up here is the mounting hole for the alternator. This is one bracket here, and then this is the other tip of the C bracket of this bracket up here in the front. This is the other end of it, is over here. I'm not sure how well you can see that.
Not very well, but I can see, like, I can visualize it at the very least. Yeah, well, and actually, because I didn't take any pictures of it, but oddly enough, like I said, last summer I did a video on that car, and I went under the hood and everything, so you could actually see the bracket probably from that video.
Sure. Hold on. Give me a half a second. Did I close that window by chance?
I
did.
So yeah,
I accidentally closed my YouTube video link one. This one needs to go back to great video, go live. Go to one that I'm already currently on. Here we go. Okay, now I need to, I think that's still good. Alright, so it was under yours, which I don't even need. I could just scroll down here because you're on my recommended list.
Yeah, and it's
there you are.
The purple 68 Firebird. It stands out. The
so
purple.
It's under videos. You don't have it in the playlist.
There is a playlist of viewers, right?
Okay, that'd be probably faster to find it.
There's like 40-ish videos in there. But
car reviews, no. It's like 40 videos.
Yeah, 40-ish. I think there's like 43, 44, something like that in there.
Walk-arounds?
It would be under walk-arounds as well. I thought I had a viewers ride category as well. But let me know.
I don't see them.
Okay, it's under that category too. So.
68 Pontiac walk-around?
Yeah, well, is there a purple Firebird on the background?
I can't, the picture's small. You're wearing a red dress?
I believe I was that day, yeah. Yes, I was that day. Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward until you get to the engine. There we go. Let's make you nice and big so I can see. Oh, he has a Chevy. That is a Chevy aftermarket alternator bracket.
Okay, so that's why. Makes sense.
That is not a factory Pontiac bracket. Yeah, and he's got that alternator maxed all the way out. And there is no support on it. You're right.
Yeah, at the end he keeps bending that bracket.
Because again, there's nothing to. All right, so normally and I can actually pull this up here. Share screen, Chrome tab, Firebird. There we go. I wish I could blow this. I could zoom in, but I can't. So your bracket, which is right here, it's only bolted into one hole.
Yeah.
So literally this whole bracket swings back and forth.
Yeah.
There's nothing to keep that bracket in one space. Because see, that bracket should hold still, and the alternator should travel along this slot. But the problem is not only is the alternator moving back and forth in this slot, but this whole bracket is going to seesaw because it doesn't have a second mounting point to triangulate it and keep it in position. So I mean, it's like it's like trying to, I don't even know how to explain it, but that's not the factory one. That is not. I can send him pictures of the bracket that he's looking for, but he might also need. I think his whole system's all screwed up, because I'm seeing the swivel part for his power steering pump down here, and that should be in the back. That bracket down there should be behind the power steering pump, because that is where did I put that? Where is it?
Yeah, well, I knew there was something wrong because, like, looking at it, it's just like, yeah, something
it's not right.
His
bracketry where he has stuff is messed up. I can literally sit there and lay out where all of those brackets go, but I don't know how many of the original ones he has, and if he has everything.
You see, I don't know that either.
But he does not have the right brackets for that engine. At least the top one. And I don't think that his bracket down on the bottom, I don't think it's in the right location. Because I can see the slot right here. Like, you can just barely see it right here. I don't know if I can get a better view of it by playing it for a second. No, I think he moved away from it. Let's try this again. Get your own shadow out of the way. Yeah, I'm trying to get a good shot out of where that is. But I'm pretty sure I'm seeing the slot for the power steering pump. Yeah, see it right here?
Yeah.
That bracket belongs behind the power steering pump. Because this slot here should go on the stud on the backside of the power steering pump. There should be another bolt hole up here that should go to the top of the head. And then there should be another bolt hole that should go to the bottom of the head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and that makes total sense. Like, to be honest.
And that means he's also missing the bracket that goes in front of the power steering pump.
Yeah.
He's got, I think this is the bracket for the backside of the power steering pump. I don't know what he's got going on behind the freaking power steering pump because I can't see it. But he definitely doesn't have the right one, because this is where this is where your bolt for your alternator is going.
And, see, and I know that he's not the one that put that together.
Oh, I'm not blaming him, or I'm just saying.
Because that was the original 68 Pontiac 400 car, but obviously then that motor was swapped in who knows when. And he bought it from a guy out east. But, yeah, so, and you'd think that they would have done the correct stuff, but obviously not. I mean, he's had this car for a few years, actually, and he's been driving it like that.
Yeah. I have a bad problem with closing the windows that I want to have open, and let's go back and do this again. Go back into my live. And by the way, hi Jesse, I did see you pop in. I was in the middle of a discussion.
Hello, Jesse.
Let me see
Welcome.
if I can. Let's just pull this out into another new window.
Well, okay, so that explains it. So I'll just have to let him know that for sure. And then, like, if you can send me, the pictures of it, that are how it's supposed to be, I can then relay that to him. So I should be able to find him in the group.
I'm pulling up an image here real quick to see if I can find. Okay, so yeah, here is share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. This is the C bracket I was talking about for.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has more mounting spots than I thought it did. So this is the one for the water pump. This one mounts down, I think, on the block. This is the hole that the alternator goes through. This is your hole that your power steering pump bolts to. Right here, this lower one.
Yeah, makes sense.
Here's the other two. This is the one that goes on the back side of your power steering pump. So this two mounts to the block, I think. I don't know. I'd have to go back out and go look to see where it goes. But this is your slot for... Oh, no. This one bolts to the upper part of the head. This one is also bolts to the head. And it allows you to tilt the bracket. And then these two bolts go on to the actual power steering pump. So it's not the power steering pump that pivots on the bracket. It's the whole bracket that pivots on the head to adjust the power steering pump. This is the one that goes on the front of the power steering pump. So that's the front power steering pump bracket. Now, if I can find one on the car. So, you know, this could be the one that you see. See, there's that long.
Yeah,
it's a different style, close to the same one, but different. But even still, his doesn't come down like this.
No, it doesn't. It literally is just like, so it cuts off like right where just about that bottom bolt hole is, right? And that's it.
All right. Here's that power steering, the front power steering bracket on the car itself.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
See, mine's an AC car, so it's slightly different. Maybe.
I don't got one of the unicorns.
I have an AC car without the AC unit on it.
Hey, it's still a unicorn to find one with AC, though. Like, serious.
It's been long gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, well, it's like, it's so funny because everybody just tells me with this car, it's like, why do you want AC in this in your convertible? It's like, you don't realize how fucking hot it gets. Like, if you were in...
What happens when it's raining and I want to be cool?
Yeah, there's that too.
This is the style arm that he's got on it now.
Yes, 100%.
And those ones suck.
Yeah, well, okay. So I'll let him know that for sure.
He needs 3 pieces. This is another GM style alternator bracket, but this is if you have the alternator on the passenger side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs 3 pieces. There's 3 brackets that make his power steering pump and his alternator work on that side of the engine. Like I said, it's this one here, and then these other 2 that I had further up here.
Yeah, I know what you. Yeah, I know which one. So
These 2.
I'll have to send those to him. So I can do that.
And literally, he'd be set. He doesn't have a whole bunch of chrome, so it doesn't like he needs a bunch of aftermarket crap. Those factory ones look just fine, painted up, and look, you don't even know that, you know.
No, for sure. You know, like, he's got a standard black one as it is. I'm sure he's comfortable with another black, right? So, yeah.
I'm surprised more people don't have pictures of that all set up.
And actually, so something, I saw one of the dumbest videos today, because, you know, when you see those Facebook shorts,
yeah,
you know, or I guess they call them reels because they're off of Instagram, really. But the thing is, so this guy has this old diesel running, right? And he unhooks the battery and just like, why is it still running? It should not be running. I'm like, dude, really? Are you really that stupid? Like, yeah, your alternator is charging your car. Your accessories probably don't work, but it'll still keep running without the battery hooked up. Like, duh.
Yeah, the engine doesn't need the freaking. It doesn't need spark.
Yeah, well, the battery is only for when it's, it needs the initial jolt to start the vehicle. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. See this setup right here that is highlighted. This is a standard Chevy setup with the alternator on the passenger side. And again, they still have that same bar. Sorry, my mind's still on this.
Well, it's nice that you can actually get the proper bracket.
You can, especially on 4. I know exactly which ones he needs. He's just gonna need. He just might possibly need all 3 of the ones. I don't know if he has any of the original ones left.
Yeah, I still don't know either. I'm gonna guess no, because obviously he's been fighting this for a while. Like, he didn't tell me about that last year, but he was obviously fighting it then.
Yeah. So yeah, he just needs those to complete that side. He only needs those 3.
Yeah, and saying like, and that's the one thing though too is, he doesn't really take it on trips or anything like that because it keeps blowing the freaking belt off, right?
And then he can't enjoy the car.
Yeah, not really. Like, there are car shows he wants to show the car at because it's a nice car, but unfortunately he's not really able to. He just does the car meets you in town with that one anyway.
Jesse says that Craig 909 got an i6 Fox body like yours.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you see the one Cletus and friends had picked up?
No.
They've got I think theirs is white. They've got a white Fox body, and they're stuffing the Godzilla engine in it.
Oh yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
That's gonna look like that's gonna be a fun. But the thing is I don't know how much they're saying is true, but they're saying that a lot of the parts on that Godzilla engine look a lot like LS stuff.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. So, going back a ways, okay, the LS copied the Windsor.
Let me get rid of this screen share so we can go back to being up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the LS initially copied the Windsor design. They're both very similar when you look at an original 302 or 351 Windsor is very similar to an LS. And oddly enough, people with 302s have been able to actually modify the heads ever so slightly to fit on a 302. It's been done. So there's that. So seeing that, hey, look at that 7.3 looks similar to an LS. Well, actually, that 7.3 looks similar to a Windsor technically that way. It just got more of the modernization that the Windsors didn't have.
That's right? The part that they were commenting on in the video was. I mean, yeah, they were looking at actual, like, the ribbing of the block and things like that being, like, straight off of an LS, the outside of an LS. But some of the other things they were talking about were, like, coil locations, the coils themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they copied a lot of that. I would have no doubt about that. But to be fair, Chevy copied them first. So,
they all copy each other, period, but that's it.
Everybody does.
Sorry. Miss Formy's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
And I think I was going to end it.
And that's just the funny thing of everybody, kind of like all these Chevy guys saying, oh, the LS is the greatest engine of all time. It's like, yeah, it's based off of Windsor, though. That's the funny part. Because when you look at the two engines, they're very, very similar to each other. It's hilarious.
But a Windsor was a cast iron block, wasn't it?
Yes. But to be fair, LS technically could have both.
But I'm talking about like an iron block LS. I don't think needs all the ribbing that an aluminum one does.
I'm not sure. I know that they're very, very similar to each other. It's just I don't know obviously any of the strengthening that may have been done to the block or anything, or if it's thicker or whatever.
I'm not an LS or an LT guy, so.
Yeah, and I'm not an LS gal either. I don't care for an LS unless you do something weird with an LS. Like you put an LS in something really stupid, it's like, okay, cool.
I mean,
That's where I get
is there
respect for
even such a
LS.
thing at this point?
There is a couple of things, not very many though.
Like, I mean,
in,
if they can do a big block Chevy and yeah, just beat it. Tell it who's
yeah, I got
boss.
hair.
But anyway, like, I mean, if they can shove a big block in a freaking motorcycle,
I mean, that's been done.
and everything and anything has been swapped with an LS. I mean, you'd have to swap a pedal scooter with an LS on the back of it for it to be freaking insane at this point. Grandma's toaster powered by an LS.
Well, feel like the weird LS swap that I'm talking about is like putting an LS in, say, like a Range Rover, for example. It's not really done, to be honest, very often.
Give me 10 seconds. I want to check this out now.
Because, well, I'm sure there is out there on the internet and whatever else people have done it. I have no doubt about that. But when do you ever see out in the wild a Range Rover with an LS in it? You never do, right?
Okay, the Slob channel has an LS swapped L322 Range Rover. Mustang Lifestyle has an LS swapped twin turbo powered Range Rover Sport.
Oh, yeah, like I said, there are obviously going to be some of those, but most people don't really mess with the Range Rovers and actually modify them, right? A lot of people keep them stock. So to see them modified with anything,
I guess, but I literally just typed it into Google, and I've seen like 10 different YouTube channels that have an LS swapped Range Rover.
Yeah, but when's the last time I physically saw one?
When was the last time I physically saw a Range Rover on the road that wasn't one of these new fucking, wannabe Range Rovers?
Yeah, oddly enough, I actually see them.
I see the new ones all over the place because, I live out, or at least I used to live down in what is an expensive area to live in with a lot of high-end people. But I think I personally, they're not. It's like owning a new Bentley, or it's not the same ring as owning an old school Bentley back when almost nobody could afford them.
That's true. Well, see, now I would, oddly enough, actually, if somebody LS swapped a Continental GT, that'd be kind of dope.
An old school, like 1930s, 1940s.
No, I'm talking like the newer one with the W12 in it.
Oh.
Swap that with an LS, that'd be kind of neat. But that's the thing. Weird LS swaps like that is what I'm talking about. Because everybody's done a Camaro,
anything Chevy. That's just whatever. But I mean,
yeah. they've done Camaros, they've done Mustangs. I've seen LSs and Bugs as well. It's been done in just about everything, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. When you start LS swapping imports, as far as like tuner imports, not high-end imports, but tuner imports, at that point when you start LS swapping those things, all right, now everybody's doing LS swaps, so then it's no longer at that point it's more rare to see somebody tuner swap an American car than it is to see an LS in a foreign or some weird car.
And that's the one thing, I like weird swaps that people do. And the one thing is, there's a guy here in town, his name is Josh, actually, and I was trying to help him out with his truck last night after the car meet. And plus, he wanted me to go check out Fox Body with him that's just on this guy's random property in the middle of nowhere, right? So we hopped in my car, we just drove like 50 minutes down the road and found this thing.
The best ones? Middle of nowhere car searches?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was cool to see it there. The picture that I took, because it was just from the interior of my car, the grass is damn near higher than the car around it. It's just completely buried. You can barely see it.
But it's being attacked by velociraptors?
Well, this thing is and it's kind of a rare beast, actually, because it is a notchback Aero Mustang, which not a lot of them exist. They were mostly hatchbacks, and actually, I believe they made more convertibles than they did.
You'll have to show me what one looks like, because with Fox Bodies, I am really, really hit or miss on whether I like them.
That's fair. I mean, well, the one thing is the arrows are the ones you see the most, which is not on my channel. Like mine are 4-eye, right? And I have 2 different iterations of the 4-eye. Hey, there's Chris.
And like I said, I was going to stop the live stream an hour ago.
Yeah, well then I jumped in, so you know.
We were damn near close to me just saying fuck it. All right, you two are here. I'm going to go around and grab a cold beverage. Chris, update the world. I'll be right back.
Update the world. Okay. It's raining extremely hard. I need to turn the air conditioning down because my points are about to poke my eye out from the rough road to keep riding in.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was significant enough that I don't know how long this may last because it bounced my charger cord out of the damn dash for the phone, and in the midst of the conversation I was on and everything else I was going, I looked at the phone, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You've been plugged in for 5 hours straight and you're down to 15% battery. How's that work?
Alrighty, great for the weather report from Chris. We are now back onto the regular news with Katarina's Garage.
Yeah, I was just getting rid of water. Apparently, I had this little plastic container and it was just full of water on the back seat of my car. I was like, what the?
Is your top leaking?
Oh, I know the top leaks, but not there. That's the weird part about it. I don't know where that came from.
Apparently it's doing something there. You might want to throw like paper on the back of your thingy and see where you get wet spots at.
Yeah, well, I already know because like I do go to the car wash with this thing, obviously, and you know have the top up and everything. So when I do, but it's just one of those deals. It's just like that was weird.
Are you one of those girls that detail cleans the inside of your car with a car wash?
Not fully detailing.
With the whole freaking degreaser brush, and just scrub down the whole inside of your car, and then take the power wash part, and then just rinse everything off. I'm sure we've all seen those YouTube videos of people doing that stupid shit. Going to ham with a freaking scrub brush on the inside of the car.
A specific car? Sure. Like, if this was an old Jeep with, like, no electronics in it, absolutely. With rubber floors? Sure, why not?
Well, but, yeah, like, my truck had the mud truck option delete, then, yeah, I mean, you put the rhino lining down on the floors themselves, you pull out all the freaking body plugs, and then, yeah, you just rinse down the whole inside of the freaking truck, and... But normally your wiring harness is already set up for that.
Continue on I-64.
Shut up, Edith.
Exactly. You don't know your detailed frenzy until you do the inside of a car and you're using little toothbrushes, hand brushes, and Q-tips.
Well, see,
hey, Chris.
Well, see, that's the one thing that with this car, because, like, I don't do a full detail of the interior. And the reason being is, it's a freaking convertible. I have a top down all the time. I get dirty, right? Like, I will, don't get me wrong, I'll do a light dusting, but that's about it, you know?
Hey. Sorry, brain is on ADHD mode. I could do a shirt that says, like, NOVAtazz podcast, and underneath of it just says, shut up, Edith.
That'd be fun. That'd be such an inside joke, though, that
right, but we're going to have to get that joke going a lot longer before that becomes something that people are going to recognize that watch the podcast.
Well, see, to be fair, I didn't know it was named Edith until just now.
Yes, Chris names his
Actually, she was... I don't think she was on the show that night when we talked about that.
Yeah, no, that's why there is a whole banner just for that, because it was going constantly, so I got tired of saying it, so I just started making a banner, and I would just click the banner every time she'd talk.
Yeah, she's I nicknamed it Edith because it's very annoying. It doesn't do the right routing. Like earlier was absolutely crazy getting down around Kansas City, but this nasally draining, irritating, almost fingernail down the chalkboard voice that it has. I nicknamed it Edith because the only thing it reminds me of is the old Archie Bunker show, and I can see them driving around town, and his wife sitting in the car saying, "You made a wrong turn, Archie."
Miss Forney says, "Don't give away all her car detailing secrets."
I figured she'd say something eventually.
She said something before you did. She was in here before you.
Detail.
How we knew you were showing up. Miss Formie doesn't watch our show unless you're in it.
Yeah, I don't know why she's scared.
I just think she's only in here because you're in here. She wants to watch her superstar.
That could be it.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna have to get a light back in here then, huh?
But no, it's probably
you know what? I could make comments about lights and things in the dark, but you know, I'll just.
we need to get you. We need to find a way to get your Peterbilt sign up. Or you're still driving a Peterbilt, or what are you driving now?
No.
What are you driving now?
2022 Freightliner Cascadia.
So do we need a Freightliner freaking banner for the back of your truck now? I don't know if rolling down the highway with a lit Peterbilt sign in your Freightliner is that's kind of cross signals there.
Here's the thing: if you know anything about Freightliner Cascadias, yeah, they've been making shitty trucks for a long time.
Well, we are trusting our friend's life in one of those shitty trucks. So this one better be a good one.
Oh well,
they're not. Ain't none of them any good.
Yeah, they're not. Like, anybody that knows that name dreads those trucks. Like, my mother, because she drives trucks, and what she started on was an 04 Cascadia that had the weird semi-automatic transmission in it. So what it was a flappy paddle automatic, but it had a clutch, which is freaking weird because it's automatic. Why would it have a clutch? Because they couldn't figure out how to stop and go without the engine shutting off. So they still had the clutch there.
Technically, they're all still manual transmission. All they done is they replaced the top shift tower that the lever used to go in and put electrically controlled solenoids that do the shifting for you.
Yeah, but it was the dumbest thing.
It's like the modern double clutch transmissions.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really work in a semi-truck thing. Like, and the thing was so dumb, too. Because I drove it, and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't have my CDL or anything, but I just drove around an industrial complex.
The thing about those back then, at least you could idle with the damn thing. These things are a pain in the ass, because you got to feather the throttle to try to back up or do anything. It's a pain, because you're feathering the throttle and feathering the brake at the same time, especially when you're backing into a dock, so that you don't slam the thing behind you and smack your head off the seat and launch every loose thing in the cab everywhere but where it's supposed to be. It's fun watching new guys.
We were watching the start of Katarina's new budding career as a mime.
This could be fun.
Oh, I was killing mosquitoes.
Yeah, remember, we can't see the mosquitoes. We can't see the glass on your window either. You're just like, I'm stuck. I can't get out.
Either that, or she found a new niche on YouTube, and she's having flashbacks of like the old silent movies from the 1915s, 1920s. Watch, this is my reenactment of the Keystone Cops before they found sound.
Jesse says that's why the top went up, huh? The top went back up because she got tired of getting some certain bits bit up. Jesse also says that the top apparently works really nice, Kat.
It does. I do like that. Well, the impressive part about this top, this is the original top from 1986. Right. It has never been replaced.
Have you been greasing it?
Now, does it need to be replaced? Yes. But it's not bad enough. Like, it's not bad enough to where it's like, oh my god, it needs to be replaced RFM.
I don't think you need to replace the whole thing, just the cloth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Like, this cloth is original.
But the way that it goes up and down, that's the frame.
Yeah, and all that's all good, and the hydraulics are nice and everything. This car was very well taken care of, and
then you got it. Sorry, had to get that in there.
I will say I'm the only one that's driven it in snow, but
Oh, for shame.
I've driven it a little bit in snow. Okay,
Gray's been in the snow.
It had better traction than the other car in the snow. Okay.
You should have heard the shit I got for driving Jean Grey in the freaking middle of a snowstorm. Were you around back then, Chris, when I did that?
Uh-huh.
I got my the Trans Am community was up in arms because, well, it was the day after I bought it.
He got called everything but a white man. You brought it out of the storage spot in the snow.
Yeah, it was literally. Yeah, I have the first video I have of it was driving it home when there's freaking still snow on the ground.
Yeah. Trust me. I've done point of view videos of driving my cars in the snow, and people get so upset about it. Like, what do you think? Okay, these car not so much. I understand if they get upset about this car because you probably weren't driving this year round. Back then, but the other car, you're damn right they were. They weren't parking that. It's a freaking inline six Mustang. You kidding me? No.
It was hilarious because when he did his video pulling out of the parking spot where he got it at, we were saying, "It's never gonna come out of that snowbank. You need a tow truck. You gotta winch it out." Blah 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 blah.
Nope. I backed it up, rolled it forward, gassed it, and off it pulled itself right out of the hole.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, as long as you're not stuck, yeah, you can get it out just about anywhere. It doesn't matter what.
The only thing that sucks, so I've driven both the Nova and the Trans Am in the snow. I will drive the Nova all day long in the freaking snow. The Trans Am, not so much fun. A, it sits way too low to the ground.
Yeah,
B, it's got the limited slip rear diff. That thing likes to get squirrely.
I can see that.
If you hit any ice or any slippery spot on one tire and not the other, you're gonna go sliding.
You're going for a ride. I think the only thing limited slip about them is limited attraction you got in any kind of inclement conditions.
Rain, snow. Yeah, not so much fun with the Nova. The Nova's fun as hell. It's got an open diff. I'll
heavy
whip that
fog
thing all the time.
Those are fun nights. Heavy dewy fog in the middle of the night. You know, you go into a corner. Oh, here. Where the hell do you think you're going? Especially under braking.
And the thing is I did a revival. I just realized that, Chris. I did a revival video before revival videos were popular. I should rename them Trans Am Revival Part 1, 2, and 3. Because it was before they were one video. It's 3 videos, but it was literally car's been sitting there, not running, not moving. I dropped him to fucking cash, and we drove that sucker home 3 hours later. It did not run when we first got there.
Did you do a show last week?
Live stream show? Or a actual edited?
Yeah, live stream.
Yep.
No, live stream.
Pretty sure I did one was last week 4th of July? I did not do it 4th of July.
Weekend before was 4th of July.
Yeah, last week we did one.
Well,
nobody showed up.
Our apologies because the last 2 weekends we had the yacht out on the lake.
Hey, I'm not gonna no apologizing for living your life. Nobody said drop your life for my live stream.
First time in 8 years it's been on the water. With the gas that it was put in storage in. It didn't sink, it run, and it come back to the trailer on both accords.
There you go.
And unshameful plug, I got to do a huge shout out for the Amsoil products.
Oh, you are shameful.
I put a bunch of gas treatment and octane boost and other stuff in the thing, and it never missed a lick. I mean, just like you filled it up with fresh gas.
Speaking of gas, it's finally come. It's now down to $4.60 a gallon here.
Yeah, it dropped finally here because the Shell across the street was $1.96 last week, $1.49 per liter, and now it's $1.82, I believe.
I could put a whopping 52 gallons in my 52 gallons.
You just like 52 gallons for what?
No, I put $50 in my tank, and I got a whopping 11 gallons.
Let's say 52 gallons wouldn't even give us a quarter tank. Yeah, scary. we put gas in the boat last week to fill the tank back up to go to the lake.
Boats are horrible on gas.
It was over $600.
Oof.
Well, see, I would think that, because the one thing is, that little rock that I have, it's not really little, but, you know, because I think it has 3 separate fuel tanks. It has about a 250-ish liter flip tank in the box. It has a regular saddle-style tank that's probably another 120 liters or so. Then it has another tank at the back of the, like a conventional sort of tank that you'd see in a regular car, but a massive thing. That's probably another 150 liters back there. Like, it's just so much. I get why. It's a 460 dually freaking a luxury sort of van truck thing that weighs who knows how much.
Does not look very luxury.
Not
on the outside.
Mid-80s through the 90s, they were actually even starting in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Ford was pretty much standard operation on their anything from a 350 up or a 3/4 ton up. They put dual tanks in as a standard.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm sure that's probably the standard dual tanks, but then the triple E conversion on it put that extra split tank in, which is a much bigger tank than the other two. So it is kind of interesting that way, because like, if you look at the pictures or the videos that I've done on that thing, that aluminum nice toolbox that's, well, not aluminum, but it's, you know, that nice shiny diamond plate, there's actually just a slip tank in there. You know, that's all it's for. So I don't know why it's there. Like, there is
long distance hauling.
Yeah, I guess, but it's kind of odd. Like, you would have thought that the dual tanks would have been enough, but I guess not.
It depends on where that truck originally was. Like, if that truck was out in the middle of the fucking boonies, you know, like somebody had that out in the middle of nowhere, I could see having that, because you didn't need to be near a gas station that often. You know?
Sure. Yeah, like, and, because, yeah, like, the one thing is with that thing, because those were the epitome of luxury. Like, I actually talked to somebody who worked for Triple E back in the day, and they said, yeah, that conversion, to buy it back in 1981 was $42,000. Back in 81. Now,
conversion vans are expensive.
Well, considering a fully loaded truck back then of similar was maybe 15 grand. Maybe. Right? So when you consider that, it's like, holy crap. I mean, like, and when you're inside that thing, that's where you find the luxury. You have your nice big button tuck velour seats in it that are swivel as well. Yeah, like, they're super comfortable. Like, oh my God. It does have like cabinetry actually down below where you can, there's a little drawer that you can open and there's nice wood inside. And everything is button tuck, you know, fabric that is velour everywhere. And that's it.
Presume it has the ambient romantic lighting kit in it as well.
Yep, 100%. It's got the fabric. Yep. And yeah, like, pretty much take what
what are you doing?
I think it's
what's in the cup? It was a chocolate milkshake from Hardee's.
Oh, I guess we should. All right, Chris started it.
I don't even have anything. That's the funny part.
You had a plastic container full of water.
Yeah, but it was not containing water. I mean,
you were breeding mosquitoes back there.
I think it was this that has had gasoline in it, and now it has soap and water in it.
Oh, that's great. We do not support the drinking of non-edible substances.
Also, if I really wanted to, I could drink some Pepto.
You're gonna need it after drinking what was in that freaking spray bottle.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, because, well, the one thing is,
Maybe
it was
some
really funny,
charcoal.
actually. Well, I did a video was that last summer or the summer before? I did a video and because the carburetor was giving me nothing but fits in that car, the old carb, like the original 1-barrel, for like about 3 weeks. I don't know why, but just started to act up and then it was fine afterwards. So what I was doing with it was I was physically spraying gasoline straight down the carburetor, and that's the thing I was using with it. But it was safe because of one reason, because everybody's just like, oh, you're going to cause a fire, you're going to do this and this, but like, no, I'm not. Relax. And if something catches on fire, well, guess what? It's just a carburetor fire, not the end of the world.
Carburetor becomes a carburetor fire becomes a under the hood mat fire that becomes a.
Well, no. Okay. What I was doing, because I was doing it in a better way than most people do it. Like, yeah, I did call it the non-OSHA approved method of a cold start. That's what I called the video. The video has over like 6,000 views. It's great. But the thing is, I left the air cleaner lid on. Well, I left the air cleaner lid on, actually, and the thing is, I didn't have a traditional stud with a wing nut. I had a bolt on top. So I took the bolt out, and I was spraying gas straight down the little hole there. So really, if anything happened, it was contained. Okay? It was smart. And if there was a backfire, guess what? It would just fire the lid up. Whatever.
The title of this video, how to take a vintage vehicle and melt things that are from ambient heat underneath the puddle on the ground like hot wax. How many things will melt?
But I mean, but there was so much hate I got from the video. It was just so funny. Like, it was fine. Like, I made sure I had like a bottle of water
That's
to
what
take
I need to
anything
do
else.
on my channel. I just need to do things that piss people off.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, like
that's where you want to reply. And you've never done anything stupid.
V6 out of your Mustang, we're gonna throw it in the Trans Am.
I dare you.
Locked up and everything. We're gonna take a perfectly good Pontiac 400 and we're gonna stick a locked up V6 Ford engine in it.
Yeah, see, there is, you know, like, because there is stuff that would just absolutely piss people off. Like, well, that Mustang I was talking about earlier, that notchback we went to go look at, yeah, so what he wants to do with it, and it would piss everybody off. Like, Tudor fans and, you know, Mustang fans alike.
The funny thing is, I already get enough hate for wanting to throw a Pontiac 400 in my Pontiac because everybody's calling them fucking boat anchors. But
hey,
I don't want to throw an LS in my freaking in my Trans Am.
You get as much grief about that as I do when I pop the hood on my SE.
What? And you've got the freaking old freaking 400 in there, 455.
The Buick, yeah, the Buick 455.
That Buick 455, not your Buick 455, because you got the upgraded version, but the very first car that I tried to own that I fell in love with was that Buick Electra 455, 4-door lead sled Buick 455 Electra.
It was still a stunt puller.
Oh, it was the stump. It was completely locked up.
Yeah. Because one thing is, like, I get so much hate just for keeping the inline six in that car. There is so many people that call it a boat anchor and it's good for nothing and it's a useless engine. And it's funny, actually, on TikTok, there was a guy that literally just had used this engine, you know, so I had to, I did a little it was about a 3-minute video or so, just replying to him. The video has over like 6,000 views just from doing that. Like, TikTok is really nice for that. But there's also a lot of freaking rude assholes on TikTok. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I noticed that more than YouTube. Like, there is still some on YouTube, but it does not compare to TikTok. Holy crap.
You know what's hilarious when you think of comments in regards to things like that?
But, well, like,
You know, all the negativity that YouTube got. Think about that one that the guy was doing where he put that little lawnmower engine on his carburetor
was that
on his
Dylan?
Mustang. All the grief people gave him that
oh,
because you know somebody called him everything but a golden mother under the sun.
yeah, well, the funny thing is, so that's Luke Finley that did that, and Thunderhead 289 is his YouTube channel. And the one thing is, initially, he built the CAD design as a joke, right? And he posted it in some other carburetor group. And people were just calling it so stupid. Bear in mind, this was April 1st when he posted it, right? So it was an April Fool's joke. He posted just like, yeah, hey, look what I'm going to do, right? People should have been able to tell it was a joke, but everybody thought he was serious. And he said, screw it, I'm going to do that. And he now has probably the most famous Maverick on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and yeah, like his video on his initial video on that is encroaching like 700,000 views from that. Yeah, like it is genius, honestly. And how he does it boggles the mind, because how he's doing it, because obviously a little one barrel lawnmower carb, it doesn't have any adjustment to it, right? And they always run extremely rich no matter what. But he made it so that he created a program and built a little computer for it so that it would have a vacuum leak all the time, but it's an adjustable vacuum leak that adjusts on the fly. And that's how he controls the AFR ratio. It just boggles the mind that he's been able to do that. Like, he's my hero, 100% for doing that. Because, yeah, that's just ridiculous engineering that way, and I love it. You know, but there have been other people saying that he should try and do that on a more practical engine of, you know, say like an old 200 inline six, for example, that was a one barrel from the factory. Try and do it on that and see if it would work the same way and if it would work better, you know?
Because he dared to be different.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and I know why he did it on the 302, to be honest. He had it. It makes perfect sense. Like, I'd be curious if he actually did do it on another motor, like if he chose an inline six or an inline four or something like that. I don't know if he will, and I doubt he'll do it again. But because he actually says, yeah, I don't recommend anybody do that. Because it just, the only practical purpose is, hey, look at that, I get 45 miles per gallon out of the freaking 302.
He did that on what, a 302?
Yeah, 302. And now
so think about that. 40 plus mile per gallon on a 302. Imagine what you could get if you actually did that on an inline four.
Well, yeah, well, and the one thing is actually because he essentially said that, yeah, he's essentially made a gas vapor carb doing it the way he did it. But the one thing is he took the thing on the power tour actually, and it made it. But there was one segment where, hey, you could do a dyno with your car if you wanted to. So he put it on the dyno, and it made 62 horsepower.
Ooch.
Like, that's how much it's being choked down by that little one barrel. But it's freaking hilarious. Like, yeah, that thing from the factory, being that it's about a 75, 76-ish 302, would have only made about 140 horsepower with the original two barrel on it. That's to the crank. So to the wheels, you're probably looking at around 110-ish. So he's essentially half the horsepower.
Yeah.
But, hey, he gets incredible gas or fuel economy out of it, so why not, right? And it is hilarious, though. And, you know, and he has, like, people have written articles about it all over. You know, like, Jalopnik picked it up, I believe Road and Track did, Car and Driver, you know, just about everybody.
That freaking publicity.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to get something like that explode like that, but I'd have to get something really wild for anything to get that kind of traction.
So from what I can tell and from what I can remember, the car that I looked at was a 1974 Buick Electra. This is pretty much the closest to what I saw. It was between 70 and 74.
Yeah.
Land
but
barge.
it had the like the fiberglass extensions for the taillights because one of them was busted, and that's how I know. So I'm not sure what years had them fiberglass extensions for the tail lamps.
They did that from, I think it was like 69 onward.
Right. I know it was not the 1975. The 75 is when they changed the body style, and I looked at the 75, and it does not look like the Buick that I saw.
Okay.
So it is at least a 19, whatever you said, whenever they went to them, whatever's, up until 74.
Okay, yeah, because I think they started, it was either 69 or 70 when they went to that body style. I can't remember for sure, but, yeah, and like, they're a cool car, whatever else. The Buick 455 is not a bad engine at all. Like, they all obviously have their issues. Any of the other, I guess you'd call them big blocks, but they're not really big blocks, but they are, you know, whatever, right? You know, like, because I know people will bag on the Buick, the Pontiac, and the Oldsmobile, you know, big motors, the 400, the 455s, that sort of thing. And really, you can solve the oiling issues that they can have. Look at freaking Big Chief. He runs a Pontiac motor in his freaking dragster that has about 3,000 horsepower.
It looks like it was the 71 through 73.
Oh, okay.
I just looked up taillight extensions, and I'm looking for the different ones that they had.
But yeah, like, and that's one thing that I actually like about with Big Chief and his setup, because it's really cool with that motor, because he's still using essentially the same motor that he had in that car when he had it when it was a proper street car. So, because yeah, he races a 70 GTO. You know, it's not really treatable anymore, but you know, it's pretty badass though to be able to build that with a Pontiac setup. It's not Chevy, it's not some, you know, custom weird engine that way either.
Yeah, I think he used a lot of parts and technology from Butler Performance for that engine as well.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Because they're pretty much the Pontiac gurus
just like
in the country.
That's just like CID being the Cadillac engine guys to go to.
Well, and actually, something that I think it's still for sale, and I want it so bad.
Wait, what's for sale still?
But, well, okay. So, do you know what a Ford Courier is?
No.
Okay, well, it was Ford's first proper mid-sized like mini truck back in the 70s.
Okay.
It was based off of the Mazda pickup back then.
So close to the Ranger.
The Ranger replaced.
Precursor.
Yeah, precursor to the Ranger, because the Ranger replaced it.
To the Ranger.
Yeah, well, okay. You know Roadkill when they had the Maserati?
No. I follow Roadkill, but not that closely because I didn't have cable. So,
well, the Maserati was the Mazda version of that, but it was actually originally rotary in the rotary version of it. However, somebody swapped in an old Coronado 455 front drive into the bed, right? So it had a 455 in the back, and it was great. However, I found one that topped it because there's a guy selling, I believe it's a 74 Ford Courier, same thing, but with the CAD 500 Eldorado motor back there, right? So it has that in the back. I'm like, oh my God, a CAD 500 that's rear engine in the bed of a truck.
Cadillac, you mean the Caddy 500?
Yeah, like they probably
took a front-wheel drive Caddy 500 setup and just threw it in the back.
Yeah, they took it out of an Eldorado. You know, they took it out of like a early Eldorado.
Yeah,
that way, that when
not all
the
the
front-wheel drive.
Eldorados had were front-wheel drive though.
Eldorados were front-wheel drive from about 1970 onward.
I have a the Caddy engine that I had was a 1973 Cadillac Eldorado, rear-wheel drive Caddy 500.
Yeah. That was not a rear-wheel drive motor then if it came out of an Eldorado. Because Eldorados, Joseph's Eldorado, that is a 73, and they had that same body style well before 73. That one I do know. Actually, the Eldorados became a front-wheel drive in the 60s. When the Oldsmobile Tornado debuted, and I think that was 66, the Eldorado was also that same sort of basis with the front-wheel drive. That way.
I don't know. I was told it was from an Eldorado, but it was a 1973 Cadillac 500 with the TH 400 long shaft transmission attached to it still. When I got the engine and tranny, they were still bolted together.
Fair enough. So that motor and tranny wouldn't have been out of an Eldorado. It was probably from a Coupe de Ville or Sedan de Ville, more than likely. Because that was the only, at the time, CAD 500 in a rear-wheel drive setup. Because they only made, I think it was 2 cars back then, mind you. So, they made the Sedan de Ville, the Coupe de Ville, and the Eldorado from, 1966 onwards for quite a while, actually.
And the sad part was that wasn't the biggest engine they made.
If you go back far, yeah.
That was the biggest stock displacement engine up until the 572 for GM.
Well, see, what's funny about that is there's little misnomers about that, because technically, is it the biggest cubic inch motor? And it's the biggest cubic inch motor in a mass production car. Yes. It's not the biggest, however, cubic inch motor that was put into a production car, though, because that would fall to the, I believe it was the Cadillac V16 from the 30s. It was a 700 cubic inch motor. But they didn't make those in very big numbers. So there's that. They were a big ass freaking engine. I think it was the V16, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, and that's the one thing, yeah. It was the biggest production that way. And what if they Chevy put a 572 in factory? I don't remember them doing that.
I didn't say factory. I didn't say literally in a factory car. I said a factory produced. Factory
okay.
You can get a 572 straight through GM.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Up until the 572 in the 90s, they didn't have a bigger factory offered displacement engine.
Okay, that's right. See, I didn't know you were referring to that. See, I was talking straight up production car. Wow, that way. So, the CAD 500 for production car was dethroned with the 3rd generation Viper. I do know that. But finally, because it grew to 505 cubic inches or something like that in the Viper. And that has not been dethroned since. So.
Hey, there's our hero pilot.
He's been here.
Hey, he's been in the chat the entire time.
That's the first I've seen him. Of course, it's hard for me to monitor that and do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm over here now.
Did he give a Mrs. update?
I think he might have, but I think I was missing it at the time. I think I remember something. He was talking to somebody when Jesse first popped in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one he sent me a couple days ago is just absolutely awesome.
Oh. I'm listening.
Because what I got, physical therapy at home she's been doing, and they went and bought her a cane, so she's been walking around with being stronger and ditched the walker for the most part.
No, there you go.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
Yep. So the therapy's working.
That is good news.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing.
So I told him, keep that up in 6 months, and then you guys can go out and Go join a dance contest.
Maybe it was Fleetwood rear-wheel drive.
Fleetwood was, yeah. I forgot about the Fleetwood.
Did they
But
offer
yeah.
the rear-wheel drive Cat 500 though?
That I don't know. I know that you could get. I thought you could get maybe a 472 in them, but I'm not sure about a 500. You know, I know they were pretty much the same motor, but that I don't know. Like, because I know a little more on the DeVilles and the Eldorados as opposed to Fleetwood. And Fleetwood usually had a small block Chevy in them, or at least later on. Anyway. Yeah, there was but like I said, yeah. So you probably, I'm gonna assume it was a DeVille motor you had, and whoever sold it to you was just mistaken on what it was.
525 it looks like is what came into Fleetwoods in 70. Up to. Let's see if I can find it this way. I am hijacking my own.
If you are.
You guys can talk about whatever. My brain has decided to. It now needs to know.
Needs to know about Cadillac big blocks. But yeah, like, and that's the interesting part though, because yeah, with that Ford Courier, you know, having that set up and like it's totally like wide bodied out in the back and stuff like that, and it's just absolutely freaking full on roadkill setup. And the guy bought it like that. He didn't do the swap himself.
All right.
But and yeah, I just like, oh my god. And the one thing is, they did the same thing that Roadkill was battling, and finally they moved the rad to the rear because that truck has the rad directly in behind the cab. Well, the problem is there's no airflow there.
Right.
Right? So
DeVille did
yeah,
not have the
Roadkill
500 in it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, because with Roadkill, like when they were doing it with the 455 setup from the Tornado, or maybe it was Buick. No, I believe it was the 455. And that thing, it was kind of funny because the guy that sold it to him, they said, yeah, he claimed it did wheelies and claimed it ran tens, and it was running like absolute ass when they finally figured everything out and whatever else and had it on the dyno. Like when it did the first pull, it was only making like 180 horsepower. And actually not even that, I think. And it was like 240 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. Then they did the timing, they replaced some spark plugs, and they did a few other things. And hey, look at that. The thing jumped to like 280 horsepower and like 400 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, they run massive amount of fucking torque in those engines.
Oh yeah,
you can get them up to 800 horsepower. Still with pump gas, 800 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
That's amazing. Yeah, like, and the thing is, that thing, because I wanted it so bad, because like that would make the ultimate usage vehicle. Because the only other one that I know of is the Maserati, you know, but that thing got stolen actually from Roadkill. It has never been found. Like it got stolen a few years ago. And they were trying to get it to run 10s, but they never got there. They got it into like, I think it'd be 11-second range. But down the quarter, and just like, man, you know, and he was asking, like this guy with the Ford, he was asking $5,000, but he dropped it to $4,000. And yeah, because I was trying to see, because he said he was open to trades, but he didn't want to trade for my Rock, sadly. So I'm like, oh, man, I would so did that trade in a heartbeat.
Okay, so from what I can see here, it said that the Cadillac was exclusive, the 500 was exclusive to the Eldorado until 1975, where a power plant was standard in all Cadillacs except for the Seville.
Well, okay, so then the guy straight up
1.5
lied to you then.
Keep right to I-57
So
south.
that he was very mistaken. Because you may have had a later CAD 500 motor than, a 75 and later. Because, yeah, I promise you, the Eldorado was front-wheel drive since, like, 66. And even then, I believe in 66 they didn't have the 500 yet either. So. Yeah, this is what I do know, because Joseph's Eldorado, it's a 73, that's front-wheel drive. And I know that when the Tornado came out, it was based on Eldorado technology.
All right.
So, I believe it used the exact same front-wheel drive setup. It's just different motor. Yeah, I love Tornado so much. Like, I really want a first-gen Tornado someday. This is such a cool-looking car.
All right.
Continue on I-57.
It was originally good for 400 horsepower and 550 foot-pounds of torque in 1970.
See, now, and I'm wondering if that was even undersold.
Right.
If it didn't make even more than that.
Right. And that was when it was 10-to-1 compression, though.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. Like, I know that there are some motors out there, like, yeah, that companies way lied for. Like, taking a 1970 Hemi, for example. They said 425 horsepower. If you actually dyno the motor on those, they make about 600 horsepower. So, pretty insane. And there was a few companies that did that, like, especially. Like, take a GSX Stage 4, for example. Yeah, they said around, I think it was like 430 horsepower or something like that. And yeah, it was closer to 600 horsepower as well. I don't know the exact torque numbers, but it was just absolutely insane what cars were actually making as opposed to what the factory was saying that they were. Back then. Like, I don't know why Cadillac would
I
actually
should
lie.
see it my way.
Yeah. Well, I know there's because of insurance reasons is the reason why they lied, but. Okay, can I get this freaking button button?
Didn't know they had front-wheel drive back.
Why is that a terrible idea, Jesse?
Because it's all that weight in the front with front-wheel drive. No, it wouldn't actually be that bad of an idea. Because all your weight is over top of where your drive wheels are.
Yeah, they actually did have incredible traction. Because you had about an 800-pound lump in the front of your car directly over the drive wheel. And yeah, like, they did that, and it's weird, like, when you see a CAD 500 in an Eldorado, it looks weird, because it's not transversely mounted. It is your regular sort of setup that way. It's very weird looking. Because when you think, wait, this is front-wheel drive, what the hell? Yeah, it's not in the conventional sense that way, but it was front-wheel drive. And yeah, those things are just an absolute monster. Because, like, Joseph's is fairly, like, I've driven his just around the block. But that thing is like, holy crap, it would get up and go pretty good if I really got on it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, I know what my Caddy engine had. It was definitely the TH400, and it was definitely the 500 cubic inch because we board and stroke measured it. But as far as what it was originally in, or if it was originally attached to that transmission, I don't know.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, the front wheel drive setup had the turbo for, I think it was
425.
Yeah, turbo 425, that's what it was.
And it was a transaxle, not a transmission.
True. There's that. But, yeah, they're a cool little motor. Like, the one thing is that you can't rev them very high, though. No. Because you will break it if you try. But,
they do not rev above 5K with the stock valve train. Now, the valve train that I had in it was good to 6,500.
Well, there you go.
Because I had the one-piece shaft rocker system from MTS.
Nice. Yeah, like, I'd love to screw with one of those. What is like that buggy that I want there? Because, yeah, it was just awesome to me last night. And, like, I'm still thinking about it, but I'm probably going to pull the trigger on it.
Okay, so this is a 1975 Cadillac Coupe de Ville with a 500 in it. So maybe it was a like a 75 and not a 73. But yeah, I mean, it's still the motor didn't change too much between 70 whenever they hit the smog shit up until 76 when they discontinued it.
Yeah, they didn't change a ton. I just believe they got the less compression ratio, just like everybody else did. But
yeah, and this is right. Technically, it was a 502.
That's true. Yeah, they call it a 5, but it was actually 502.
I'll tell you what. When I was that young, I could fit my whole thighs down the cylinder walls.
Yeah, well, they're massive. I don't know.
4.3 inches.
It's brutal. It's
cool, I mean, though. Compared to what is a standard LS bore?
3.4.
3.7.
2.7, sorry.
Its stroke is 3.3. The 3.7 and 3.3. That's the small end. I guess their big end is a 4.1, and with a stroke of a 4.1 as well.
That would be I'm gonna assume that's the 454 LSX.
Yeah, that's the big boy.
Yeah.
That'd be the 511 cubic inch displacement. Compared to the Caddies, which was
they were tire shredders.
Oh yeah. And that's the one thing that people don't realize. It's like, yeah, they will absolutely. If you just romp on the gas, they'll freaking spin those tires. Even though they had a lot of traction, but at the same time, if you just absolutely romp on it. But if you I'm curious if they would still do that on modern tires that are wide.
Okay, I'm not sure. So the bore and stroke was 4.3 inches and 4.3 inches. Its peak horsepower rating was 550 foot-pounds of torque and 400 foot-pounds of horsepower. It made peak horsepower at 4,400 RPM.
And peak torque is probably like 2,800 or something like that. That's my guess.
3,000.
3,000, okay.
But in 1975, it was down to making 210 horsepower at 3,600 RPM and 380 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPM.
Well, yeah, they were neutered pretty hard. Every motor like this one.
That was at 8.5 to 1 compression.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing, and it's no different than your late 70s 460s. Because the one thing that people will actually do is they will put the earlier 460 heads on the later motors and bump that compression back up to 10.5 to 1.
Any engine from the mid to early 70s up into the late 70s, that's what you did. You put pre-70s heads on the later on the 70s engines, and your horsepower will be right back to about where it was before emissions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, I know that, like, because I know that there are Lincoln guys that will do that with their 460s. Especially like in the Mark Vs, because the Mark V made a whopping 210 horsepower, I believe, and like 380 foot-pounds of torque. But in its prime, in the Mark III in 1969 and 70, the thing made over 400 horsepower. Like, I think they said 385, but it was making more than that. Like 385 horsepower and like 490 torque, something like that. They were pretty badass, and that's why they were called the Gentleman's Highway.
Yeah, versus the Pontiac engine, if you have with the Ram Air 4 cam, which is what mine has in it, it makes around 270 horsepower. No, 370 horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, see, that makes much more sense. I was going 270. What? No.
Well, that was for 1969. I'm wondering what a Ram Air 4 Pontiac engine in a 1976. Let's see.
Well, did they still have the Ram Air 4 in 76?
No, not technically, but you could still put one in.
Sure.
Obviously, mine's got one. Or at least as close to an aftermarket grind cam can be to one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because when I bought my engine, that's one of the things he said. It's they called an 041 grind cam.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Chris?
Yes.
So it's an 041 grind cam, which is essentially the same grind profile as the Ram Air 4.
Okay, yeah, because I have heard of the 041, but I didn't know that they were the same as, sort of the Ram Air 4.
Yeah, it's the Ram Air 4 cam. It would have been the grind that GM used. And then, like I said, my heads are shaved, 30,000s. So the deck height is shaved 30,000s. I have a 30,000s bore, over bore.
So what kind of compression are you running on the motor then?
What?
What kind of compression are you running on the motor then?
It's close to not. It's. Let's see. Because I don't.
Real pretty.
It's not running. It's not running the thicker head gaskets. It's running stock head gaskets.
Okay.
And it means they also modified the intake. So. Yeah.
That's badass motor.
The thing is, it's the boring heads, but when you shave 30,000s off of those boring heads, it's the same CCs as the 6X heads, which are the ones that everybody wants because of the CCs. So basically, it's a set of 6X heads that aren't 6X heads.
Nice.
So it's whatever the 6X heads were running. So the 6X heads, let's see, CCs. It's an 8.2 to 1.
Oh, that's it? I thought it would have been more than that.
If I wait, hold on, let me make sure.
Because that sounds pretty, like, no offense. My inline six has better compression ratio than that factory.
Okay, yeah, it looks like 8.4, but the regular heads were a lot lower than that.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Like, it's definitely an improvement. I just thought that, you know, it would have been closer to, you know, like the original 10, 10 and a half.
Yeah,
Oh, there goes Chris.
Maybe 9.3 to 1. It's not going to be like stupid crazy like me swapping the 350 heads with the 305 heads.
That's fair.
Because that is a big chamber size difference.
Yeah, well, I just felt like, because surprisingly, that would have been line 6 in that car. Now, I can't remember if it's 8.8 or 9.2, but it's surprisingly high. It doesn't make a lot of power on that kind of compression, but to be fair, you kind of need high compression to make even a little bit of power right away without going forced induction or anything like that. And I think that's why, actually, you can only put 10 pounds of boost in that thing. Makes the most sense.
All right.
So, yeah, like, your engine being around where it is would be perfect for a boost application, but
not that engine is not going to handle boost.
Well, I'm just saying compression ratio.
You know what part of that engine will go first if I put boost to that engine? The crank. It will shove the crank through the bottom of that block.
No.
That is the weak point of that engine. Everything from that's why everybody wants the what is it, 74 400s? Chris?
He's not here.
Oh, bye, Chris. Oh, there he is. Hey, he heard me call him.
Yeah, well, I told you that he disappeared and you didn't say anything.
That's because my mind was other places.
No, you were just ignoring me. It's fine.
Yeah, that's we were talking about compression.
My service decided to bounce harder than a bunch of balls at a dribbling contest at a basketball tournament.
Yeah, I don't remember what the compression ratio could theoretically be for my Pontiac 400. I think me and Chris figured it out, but I don't think it's more than like 9.5. Because
maybe 9 3/4. I think
something around there. It's low 9s.
Calculate based on what you had.
Okay, see,
but she was then saying
that sounds a lot better.
But she was then saying that you know, if it was down around, you know, mid 8s, you know, it's perfect for boost. I said you ain't putting boost on that engine. You put boost on a Pontiac 400 engine, you're gonna end up with a crank in your lap. Because that'll be the first to go. Because I think even the Pontiac 400 engine can't handle more than like 600 horsepower stock.
You can boost it mildly, but you're talking
not enough to
3 pounds, maybe 4 to the outside. It's just like, why bother?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's definitely not worth it.
If that thing makes any decent amount of power, it's going to throw that crank down through the frickin' oil pan.
Yeah.
Although I am kind of surprised.
It's not surprising as far as when you think about the fact that.
No, I'm not saying that. I am saying it's a little surprising that those can only hold 600 stock internally, at least, of horsepower. But like, take the like a Fox Body Era 302, those can push 500.
Well, you know, again, we're talking about the late Pontiac 400s.
True.
Like my 76.
But I'm not saying it's a late.
Because what they did was they thinned out the main journals.
Yeah, they did the same thing on these. Because if you get the earlier 302, like late 60s into
Right,
about
but
71,
your
72 -ish.
302 making 600 and some horsepower, how much is it making torque?
It's making similar torque numbers. When you do the
You gotta,
earlier 302s will push about, I think it's 650 before you have to actually do
you
anything.
gotta think about it. The Pontiac engines are starting out at like 400, 450 foot-pounds of torque at mid to high 200 horsepower. You push them to 600 horsepower, how much higher do you think that torque is going to go?
It's probably, I'm going to assume around 750, 800.
Where do you think that torque's going? It's going straight into that freaking crankshaft.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd have to think you'd blow a stock rod before you would blow the crank.
Yeah, and it just makes more sense because you don't hear about people breaking cranks very often. It's usually the connecting rod that goes before the crank does. With just about any motor. Like, there are some people that grenade cranks, but it's not often. You know?
Well,
or if the crank does go, it's because all the connecting rods went at once.
Horsepower is only good if you want to run really fast over a long distance.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, even with these two cars, like this car, I want it to be somewhere around 280-ish horsepower would be fantastic. That car, I only wanted around 230-ish, which, you know, like it's not a ton, but that thing will fly with only 230 horsepower. Because it's the lightest.
Well, shit, look at that, the drag strips are running.
Well, that's the one thing with that. My 81, that car is so damn light because of, well, it being an inline six car. And it being an early Fox body, I've had it on the scale. It's 2,680 pounds. Like, it's very light. So, you couple that, and like, I might add a little bit of weight, obviously, with, you know, building up the motor and stuff like that, but it's only probably going to be maybe 50 pounds total, you know, to that. That thing will beat up on, like, it's not like I'm looking to dominate everything, obviously, but I do want to beat up on stock or mildly built 5-liter cars is what I want to do with that car. So, and it'll easily do that once I have, hell, even the T5, when I put the T5 in it, when I swap the rear end to the one with 373s in it, and then I put a little turbo on it, make it about 6 to 7 pounds of boost, oh, it'll outrun most 302s.
You're going to want to do yourself a favor and get you a set of, if you can find them, find a set of what they considered suitcase weights, like out of an early first generation Firebird convertible that went in your trunk. It would greatly aid your rear traction. And they go in the sides. I mean, you're not going to intrude with your trunk space at all.
I mean, well, the one thing is with that car, like, to be honest, all I want to do to it in that regard, because they already have pretty good traction with the wide-ass tires I have on it, it's probably not going to spin those very much. Because bear in mind, they are, on that car, the 275 60-15 on the back. You know, way overkill for what it is right now, but it looks badass.
Yeah, because I'm only running a 255 on the Nova.
Yeah, little baby tire.
Well, it's 10 and a.
I'm joking.
Yeah, it's like a 10-inch wide tire, but it's on an 8-inch rim. So.
Yeah, I'm
How
not
are you
sure
running a 275? What? How wide is that rim?
I don't know. I have no idea how wide that rim is.
Stock 7-inch rim.
Oh no, it's not. They're aftermarket wheels.
Right.
Like
but,
they are.
I'm running an 8-inch rim, and I wouldn't go much past 255.
You know, I think it's a 9 or a 9.5 on that car. So it is a good size rim that way.
Because yeah, if I were to go much wider, I would start bowing the tread.
Oh, here. Oh, well, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Ah.
Yeah, because my Nova's running a 255/75 R15. Like I said, which is a 30-inch tall tire, but it's about 10.5 inches wide.
Yeah, so you can see.
I can't see the dish. It's got a stock.
Yeah, well, the offset of this is pretty far out too. But yeah, like, because you can't really see it. And these do rub a little, but I do need to roll these fenders out still even more. Because well, you can see this off the back, like how wide those are. Yeah. You know, and it's interesting because they don't really stick out of the wheel wells very much. So it's kind of nice.
An 11-inch wide tire.
I don't know how wide that actually is.
It's like I said, 250. Well, it's 275 is in millimeters.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what that is in inches.
Well, I know 255 is. 255 inches is 10, just over 10 inches. So 275 would be just under 11 inches. You are literally 0.8 of an inch bigger, which is 3/4 of an inch wider.
Hey, it's still wider.
So you could definitely probably be running them on 8-inch rims.
I don't think they are 8s though, but I need to look at the backside of the wheel and find out for sure. I don't remember. Like, cause I know that they are. Cause I didn't realize what those were until somebody said it. But they're tonal rims, TONAL. That's the style of them. And I don't know what they offer for size range that way. Being it's a Unilog, 4-bolt. So.
Okay, so yours is a 255/65?
No. 275.
275/65.
275/60.
All right, 275/60.
You're also the 28 out there,
And they're 15?
Yep.
Okay, so they're 28-inch tall tires by 10.8.
Yeah, that's it. Like
mine are 255/75.
I think you might be taller than mine, being 75.
Mine are 30.1 inches. So like I said, they're 30-inch tall tires by 10-inch wides.
Yeah, so I have wider, you have taller.
Yep, not by much.
Yeah, it's not by much on others.
Really. I'm 2 inches taller than yours.
Sure. Well, if I were 2 inches taller in my car, they would not roll. And because the one thing is, once I roll out those fenders even more, it won't rub anymore. But
you ain't fit another 2 inches in that wheel well. Not without a lift.
No, like I said, like what I said is, as it is, they barely fit. So they have a nice profile though on that car, and it gives it a nice little rake in the back. Awesome. Without doing any suspension work to it. It's got that rake.
So he's looking at a 285/75 R16, which is 32/11, 30 almost 33/11.
Wait, who's running that?
Jesse wants to get that for his F250. Which is still smaller. That's still smaller than the size tires that I'm running on the truck.
Yeah, well, you have a truck.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. His was truck. He's got an F250. I'm running bigger tires on my Ram.
Depending on the offset of the wheel, you could theoretically put like a 325 or 355 on those, if I remember correctly.
I can run a 35 by 12.5 factory on my truck without lifting.
You have a factory list on your truck,
I know,
so
I know.
yeah.
Uh,
Like, I'm not sure, it's kind of funny. There are people that say, hey, you cannot run the size of tire I have on my Fox body. It's like, well, you can. I've done it. You know, it does rub a little, but I need to, once I roll it out a little more, it'll be fine. But still do that. I'll get to deal with the rubbing that it has, and it's only over a big egregious bump. So, once you're around town, is really not any. But it just means the car is a lot slower with those big tires on it, but I don't care. If you're getting better fuel economy with those big tires on that, so.
all right. So the closest. It's not right. The closest I can find. Actually, I can't find that tire size in a regular tire. Not in that wide. I could find a 33 by 11 and a half. So 33 by 11 and a half is a 295/70 R17.
Yeah.
305. How many? Okay, so 33 inch, 12.5 inches to millimeters. Okay, so it would be a 317 would be the width. Now, what's annoying is trying to find what the height would be because that's done in a ratio compared to the width.
Yeah, well, just probably one of those tire size calculators thing.
Continue on I-57.
Yeah, but not like I know that the tires that I have on this V8, oddly enough, kind of funny. Because they're like I think 205 70/14s. Like they're not tall, they're not wide at all. They're good for this little setup though. They don't spin at all. Great. Like I can squawk the tire if I launch at a first. That's about it.
Okay, well that's a 20 inch. That doesn't help me any. I don't want an R20. It's a 318/64 R17.
Well, and I'm just assuming that they round up or round down on numbers like that.
Yeah, probably just a little bit. It's probably not exactly.
Yeah, well, none of these tires I think technically are. Like, you'd have to physically measure out the tire to see where it's at. Like, I don't know the size of the rims on, or like the width of the rims on that part. At least on the back. On the front, it's not very big. I think they're only like 7.5 on the front, but I think it's close to like a 9 or 9.5 inch wide wheel on the back, which is nice because you know. And like I said, it's got a killer look to it. I like it. You know, I had those wheels initially on this car, but it didn't look right on this car.
All right. Well, I think the next size tires that I get will be the 35 by 12 and a half.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the one thing that we're potentially looking at with the Civic is tires. So mind you, it's only got 13s on it, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not hard to find tires for a 13-inch rim anymore.
You can find them though. It's not. It takes a little bit, but it's not super hard to find. Because yeah, like, will you find listings online for that? No, you have to go to your tire shop and they'll find it for you. Because I had them find me. It was kind of funny because, so back in the day, I don't know if you know about this, but like on certain tires, for example, like on the Civic, the original tire size on that was a I believe the 135 is at SR-12, which basically meant an 80 ratio, with a 12-inch, rim. And because I believe that's what he found is either 80 or 85, millimeter ratio. And I actually had the tire shop in town here. He found me a set, and they were like $390 brand new for an entire set of 12. I was like, that's not bad. But then we upgraded to the 18 on that. So, and yeah, like those tires, they're winter tires, and they were starting to get a little old. We're actually going to be swapping wheels with another guy. So on that, instead of the Steelies, we're going to be going to an aftermarket unit. They look good, so they fit the car.
Jesse was saying that 35s are big tires. Those are 33s on that truck, and they look small.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, actually on your truck, not really. They look fine in them.
Huh?
35s aren't even big tires.
Not today's standards, no. Not with today's trucks. I mean, they're leaving the factory with 35s.
Well, yeah, actually, on the new Wranglers, I believe you can get a 37 from the factory.
Jesse is saying 35s for my truck are pretty big, not for the off-road edition.
You can't even talk about a big tire. Not even a 44. Those are a small tire anymore.
Well, now it's stupid. Like a 35 tire is like an average tire nowadays. Like, really, it's ridiculous. Of how tall these freaking tires are, and how big the rims are too, for that matter.
Jesse, for the off-road edition, that's other than the width, that's a stock size tire for this truck. Its stock runs a 33 by 10. And I have 33 by 12 and a halves on it now. I can run a 35 by 12 and a half on this truck without rubbing.
Yeah, okay, and that's the one thing actually. Because I remember when the Jeep Wrangler, when you could initially get that, because I think it was about when did they get off the TJ? They went to whatever platform was after that, the JK, I think it was called. Yeah, those actually had 35s from the factory. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's so big," and it's like not even anymore.
Jesse says he doesn't see it clearing under flex.
Which it might not.
Do you realize how big those wheel openings are?
Well, the one thing is, okay, depending on the flex, because if you're at the full on flex where you have like your front tires off the ground, sort of idea of flex, right? That way.
Yeah,
it's like I'm curious because it'd be close.
I'd have to have it at full steering lock and in a flex. And like I said, if you look underneath the front of that truck, which is where you'll end up, because you're not gonna hit the rear. The rear will tuck up way up in there. But the front of these trucks, I might just catch the inside frame.
Fair enough. Yeah, it does surprise me, but yeah, Violet.
And the other thing is, Jesse, is again, this isn't. It's a factory truck, but it's not a standard ride height for a factory truck. This is the off-road edition.
If you're pushing that much flex to worry about bottoming the tires out, the truck ain't equipped to be on the trail that you're doing that on to begin with.
Right.
Sure.
I wouldn't be running this truck on that kind of trail anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally, it's got a factory suspension. It's got a factory lifted suspension.
Yeah, like, cause they have a factory, isn't it? A 3-inch lift?
Yeah, about 2.5.
2.5, 3, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, see, that angle, yeah, okay, there's actually a lot more room, because the initial angle you showed it, you couldn't really see it. That angle you can.
There's a lot of room underneath of that truck.
Yeah, there is.
You can almost crawl underneath that truck and sit up.
Chris, I can crawl on top of that tire underneath of that fender. I can fit it between that fender and that wheel.
That's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't do that on my dad's truck. But mind you, his wasn't an off-road version. But because my dad only had on his truck, he had 245 80/16, I think it was. From the, and that was a little bigger than factory that he had on that. That thing was such a freaking ball. I miss that truck so much. I wish I would have bought it off him. It was such a good truck. Because yeah, it was your truck with 318, rear-wheel drive, 5-speed.
But it was the standard 4-wheel drive, wasn't it?
It was not 4x4 actually. That one.
All right, so it definitely wasn't the off-road edition then.
No, it wasn't.
So that means that had that really low stance to it then, because only the 4-wheel drive sit up high like this, and this one sits higher than a standard 4-wheel drive. All because of this little thing. I don't know. Can I get any? No, it's as close as it'll let me get. That little red sticker underneath the 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, see, and in some of yours, I didn't know that actually existed. So, because there are some weird ones that they didn't make a ton of for those tracks. But
they only made these in 2001 and I think 2002.
Yeah, and there's probably no official record of how many they made.
But yeah, and this thing's, like I said, this thing's fully loaded. It had all of the fucking options. I do need to take care of this rust though.
Yeah, see, my dad's truck, for options, it just had AC. Because everything else was just bare bones.
Yeah.
In it.
This one's got the heated mirrors. It had the upgraded stereo in it. I have an aftermarket one in it now. It has cruise control. It's got the trying to think of.
Okay, actually, my dad did have cruise control as well, and it was a 99.
Everything that comes with the off-road package, including
everything except a Hemi.
Well, I wouldn't want the Hemi anyway. I've got the 360. I'm good. I don't need that freaking Hemi.
Yeah. Well, and also the Hemi didn't come out until 2003. Actually, 2002 in the 3/4 tons, 2003 in the half ton.
Yeah. They make a slightly bit more horsepower, but they have so much more issues. Not to mention, if you got to change spark plugs in that thing, it sucks.
Slightly more horsepower?
Huh?
It's a lot more horsepower.
Not much. 75.
It's 345 horsepower.
Yeah.
16 spark plugs.
Yeah, it is. Like they are a pain in the ass to deal with when it comes to the maintenance that way. But other than that,
It's more than that.
The non-MDS, which is the multiple displacement system engines. So the 03 to 05 are fantastic motors. You almost have no issues with them whatsoever. It's when they did the cylinder deactivation that they started having issues. And somebody's lighting off fireworks. What is going on in town that they're lighting off fireworks?
How much horsepower did you say that the Hemi had?
345.
Okay, it had 100 more horsepower.
Yeah.
Let me get a set. Let me take the catalytics off my truck. Let me get a set of
free-flowing heads.
Headers. Give it a little bit of a fucking tune. I'm gonna have your freaking 340 HP.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Can you make that kind of power? Yeah, I'm just saying out of the box though. They are, and I mean, how much I'm curious though. How much would you spend in the end on that to be able to get it?
Cutting out the cats? Nothing.
Well, no, not. I know that one cost.
Set of headers.
$300.
Depending on brand. I can probably go cheaper.
Yeah, I said depending on brand. For a real good quality set, $300.
Well, $300, that's a cheap freaking setup here. Like, you want a nice long tube for that truck, it's probably close to $700.
I can put up a set of short tubers for $174 off of Summit.
Well, why would you go short? Go long.
Long tubes wouldn't give you the off-road clearance that you need.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
I
I
mean,
really need.
if you actually decide to really take it off road again.
Well, not only that, there's enough tight spaces next to that transmission to begin with.
Fair.
So bringing long tubes, number one, if I would have run with long tubes, I'd have to get rid of the Y pipe, which means then I got to run that exhaust down through past the driver's side of the transmission. Good luck with that. Yeah, it's not something I'd want to do. I'll stick to keeping the Y pipe with the short tubey headers.
That's fair. Yeah, and that's one of those things. Like, obviously, there's nothing wrong with short tube headers. Obviously,
they're going to be more horsepower than the cast
iron.
iron.
Oh, the cast iron ones, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know.
Let me just slap on a sniper on top of that truck and get rid of the factory. Actually, no, that's multi-port injection. So
yeah,
no,
it is.
I just need to throw a Dominator on top of that thing. Dominator, standalone ECU, and make a decent amount of horsepower then.
Oh yeah, you can actually make a good amount of power out of them. You just well, you normally just spend a little more on it because of the motor, but and that's how it works. You know, compared to say a Chevy or a Ford, that's usually a little cheaper.
But yeah, no, I think that the 5.9 in that, but also you got to think about it. The trucks that they're throwing that Hemi engine in, they're heavier.
Well, if
blow it out your, sorry. I'd say curb weight for.
I know that. Well, my brother's truck was an 05 single cab short box rear-wheel drive Hemi. And I think it was 5,600 pounds. That was 05 though. Something like that. It wasn't super heavy considering. Like heavy, yes, but not as heavy as you think. Because your truck, I'm assuming your truck is about 6,500, 7,000 pounds. To begin with, which is a big.
It's got some presence.
Yeah.
Beautiful skid plates.
Looks like low end 4,800 pounds, high end 5,300 pounds.
48 to 53 on which one?
On my Ram. What year is the one that they had the Hemis in? What, 03?
03 to 05 are your non-MDS Hemis.
1.25 miles.
Non what?
Take exit 44 on the right to I-24.
The non-MDS Hemis, which is the multiple displacement system.
Oh, okay.
So that is your cylinder deactivation, which that's what causes all the issues of dropped valves and all that stuff in Hemi.
They're about the
other
same
than that,
curb
it's
weight.
fantastic.
They're about the same curb weight.
Yeah, see? But I knew they weren't going to be far off. Because you look at those trucks.
Their curb weight, their low end curb weight, is the high end curb weight for the 01s.
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising considering.
Take exit 44 on the right to I-24.
Well, also on the, if I'm not mistaken, aren't the Hemis all aluminum?
And their Magnum made the same horsepower in 2003 as it does in 2001. That 245 horsepower.
Oh yeah, the 5.9, yeah, absolutely.
But what'd you say about what?
What do you think? Okay. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Because yeah, like I do like the Hemis as long as you have the correct year Hemi. Or you have to be meticulous on your maintenance on those. Like you have to be anal about it. Compared to your little Magnum where you can beat the thing and almost never change the oil and it'll take it. Hemis not quite as much of a beating. I will say that. But yeah, like those Hemis, I believe they're all aluminum, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and here's another reason why I would take mine over that one.
And
So
ain't none
the
of them worth a shit when they got diamond glitter in the oil.
5.7, the 5.7 is built for power and speed, while the 5.9 is built for torque.
Yeah, because technically it's the I think it's the 6.4 and the trucks that are
I-24.
Yeah, well, the 5.9, the torque is what I'm after in that truck anyway. I mean, I got it for hauling. I got it for towing. You know, I didn't get it because I wanted a fast truck. I have fast cars for that.
All pull toll.
I have fast cars to do the fast thing, to do the fast stuff. I have the truck to do the hauling things that I can't do in the fast car.
Truck stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. That's fine. I get that. Absolutely. You know, because yeah, like I could actually use a truck to haul stuff, but I don't have one. You know, I was hoping that the Ruck was going to be that, but nope, like that one. Which is unfortunate because that wasn't a badass tow rig. But for what I realistically need, I don't need anything quite that heavy duty.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, that makes us truck rich then.
Huh?
That makes us truck rich then.
Truckers?
Well, yeah.
5 now.
Wait, Chris, I'm not comprehending what you just said.
Name this for me. That means that we are truck rich now then, because we got 5.
You got 5 trucks now? You got the Ford. Yep. You still have the Ford, right? The Ford with the plow on the front?
Which one?
I don't know, the one that I saw that looked like it was half dead in the freaking storage lot.
Yeah. Oh, we did figure that out. Remember how we couldn't have the plow and all the issues we were having?
Yeah, you were having an electrical disconnect somewhere, weren't you?
Yeah, broken battery terminal, where the cable went in the back of the cable in the terminal onto the battery.
That's lovely.
Plus the battery was dead. But new battery, new things. Presto, it working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one. I've got the 2000 standard cab with the plow at the house. My old one that had the blowed brake line. That was sitting there at storage.
Do you still have a Dodge?
No. we dumped that lemonized gold striped piece of crap in January. Remember when I was back there hunting in the hospital?
Yeah.
It broke down.
Yep.
Again. And she found the 2016, the one that we towed on the Novas with.
Right.
How could you forget the Ford? The Platinum.
I don't know. I like my Dodge. I know people rat on it, but I think it's a nice looking truck. And other than the transmission, it has not given me any damn issues.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the one thing, because, yeah, you will probably never grenade the axle in it. You'll never grenade that transfer case. If you grenade the motor, that's because you pushed it way too goddamn hard, because that's nearly impossible to do.
It does need an oil change, though. I just haven't done it yet.
I mean, yeah, you do actually. No, actually, you don't have to worry about oil sludging either. They don't have that issue. Or that they don't have the oil sludging issue either. So.
Well, I still run. I will probably still drain a little bit out of it, and then run some Marvel Mystery Fluid in it for a little bit, to break up anything that is in it, and then do an oil change.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do it. Like, yeah, because technically you don't have to do it that way, but you can.
No, just because it hasn't been done in so long, and the truck has been sitting for so long.
That's fair.
Yeah, I did it with my Nova too, like every second or third oil change. It's just a preventative measure. You know, it's like I said, it's just to help degunk the inside of the engine a little bit. And you know, especially if you run the engine hard or whatever. I will normally do that on an engine that I don't know. All right, this isn't Halloween.
Are you sure?
Yeah. How is it?
What do you mean?
I think we are going to call it though, because I think we're all getting a little bit goofy and loopy.
Okay.
Oh, oil in the Bronco is about 3 years old. Yeah, that's even if you're not driving it, that's not necessarily the greatest thing to do. Not with today's fuels. But yeah. But all right. So catch you guys all next week. You guys got to show up before 10. Damn it! How hard it is to drag this live stream all the way to 10 to when all you guys decide to pop in.
We got faith in you?
Huh?
Yeah, come on. We want to see you dance, monkey. Dance.
You got to pay me to dance. Right now,
He hasn't
YouTube's
pulled
not
his
paying
beard
me,
out yet.
so I'm not even getting paid this month off of YouTube. That's how bad it
He
is.
still got his hawk.
Do what?
I said you ain't pulled your beard out yet, and you still got your hawk, so you're doing something right.
Beard. I have no beard. Maybe I should go back to the short beard. Maybe.
Okay, it looks fine, but it's not the same.
But yeah. All right. Catch you guys later. You guys all gonna say goodnight?
Fan. Everybody have a fine night, a great week, enjoy. Just remember, your passion drives you. A bird will set you free.
May the force be with you.
May the horse be with you?
I said horse.
I thought you're the Mustang girl. I thought you said may the horse be with you, considering he just made a bird reference.
He did, but you know.
Does this mean when she starts name, we know why her top came off?
All right. We need to go.